Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the podcast, Master Random, the podcast. I am your host, Boo Ada, and if you've been listening to the last few episodes, I've been giving updates on my shoulder, how I injured it, what I plan on doing to get it better, and you'll be happy to know that this will be the last and final update that I give on my shoulder, and you'll never have to hear about it again. Basically, I have been rehabbing it for the last 2 weeks, twice a week, with Dr. Ryan Claris over at Custom Fitness, and just putting me through the ringer and getting my shoulder back to full health and full strength. And I feel over the last couple weeks, I actually feel like it's improving so much better. Mobility's better. Strength in doing certain movements is better. So I'm happy about that. And all I've heard was great things about going through Dr. Claris's rehab program. And I'm experiencing it firsthand. And shout outs to Rico too for pushing me through those workouts. Because they're not easy, especially if you've been through a rehab program. Doing rehab is not easy, especially on the injured part of your body. And I'm just glad to know that in due time, with the amount of work that I'm putting into getting it back to full health, that I'm also going to be maximizing my strength in my shoulder. So that being said, yeah, you don't have to hear about it. No more. No longer. That's it. I do want to talk about COVID. I feel like we're going through our second wave, second spike, whatever it may be. However you may want to call it, we are seeing more people, more establishments being affected by people who are testing positive. We need to not look at testing positive for COVID as a stigma, especially here on Guam. We are such a small community of people that it can easily become a stigma to test positive, and people won't tell you that they're positive, or be afraid, or not mention it, or whatever it may be embarrassed. It's something that we have to try. I believe that we have to try and avoid it becoming, and just becoming more aware rather than fearing of getting it. Become aware of how to not get it, how to avoid getting it, I should say. And if you do get it, what precautions you need to take in order to get yourself back to full health and not affect those around you. It's here. It's gonna be here. And there's nothing we can do about it. It's already here, right? So the best thing we can do is educate ourselves, not stigmatize it, and support those around us who are testing positive. And it's gonna get closer and closer and closer to home the more days that go by. So I just wanted to put that out there. Educate yourself, become aware, don't be afraid. And that's it. That's all I got. Now my next guest with an S. One of my guests was on episode 22 back in 2015 when I first started the podcast, and he hit me up and was like, "What's up, man? 200 episodes later, let's do this." And so we did it. So I brought Eddie Pelkey back onto the podcast with Dom Sablan with the intentions of talking about the FD alumni tournament being affected by COVID and what it is to do. But of course, that's not the full direction that we're going to go. And we're going to talk about so many other things that we did. And it was fun. Dom Sablan is actually class of 2009. Eddie is class of Eddie is class of 96. And we talk about the FD alumni tournament, but Dom is also involved with elite basketball, and pushing younger kids and the youth to training in basketball more. Eddie is a huge part of the basketball community. He's coached the FD Friars. Ooh, that is thunder. And he also coaches the Academy Cougars, both varsity teams. And super intelligent guy. I respect the guy so much. And just having Dom on the podcast too, that guy is doing many things. He's actually also the founder of Clutch Guam. And if you've seen some of the edits that they put together of of the high school basketball players, even down to middle school. Oh man, we got some ballers here on Guam. So enjoy this conversation with Eddie Pelkey and Dom Sablan, and I hope you sort of take some things out of it. And if you're a young basketball-minded player, or even sports player, they give some great insight in what it takes to get to where you want to be. So enjoy this conversation with Eddie Pelkey and Dom Sablan. Check it out. To the show, guys. Eddie Pelkey and Dom Sablan. Eddie's been on the show before, and
one time.
And you text messaged me and said, "Hey, it's time to do another one after 5 years." Nobody's waited 5 years to do a podcast, and that's the longest so far.
Thanks. So it's nice to be a trendsetter again. The first in 5 years.
Yeah. So, and that was when we did that podcast. That was my 10th year. Right, and that's when we host the tournament and put all our love, guts, and glory and
chicken leg
quarters and just hating everybody for the next 30 days.
Yep.
But it's one of the greatest experiences that I've ever been through, just because I'll always remember it as being able to come back. And the thing about it is, when I was in high school, I was never a basketball player. I was always the crazy guy in the stands yelling obnoxiously loud with all my friends, and that was it. But the tournament becoming this thing that people can go to, and whether you played basketball in high school or not, if you want to be a part of it with your class, you can be, and you can still feel the camaraderie all the way up to this day. It's been 15 years since I graduated, and it's been what? How many years for you?
24.
And just about 11, right?
Yeah,
for
I
you?
just finished my 10th.
Right.
They just hosted last year.
Yeah,
Yep.
right.
This past tournament.
So it's it's crazy that this something like this has developed, and we talked about it if you want to go listen to how the tournament came upon.
Well, I don't know, because I don't think we did a great job at all for playing that shit the first time, to be honest. So, for the viewers at home,
okay, go ahead.
For those that don't know, though, I think we should do it some justice a little. For people listening who have no
go listen
idea,
to episode 12.
Episode 22 explains absolutely nothing about the alumni tournament other than stupid stories that we were sharing. But it's Father Dueñas, an all-boys Catholic high school, and started in 1985. Two guys, Dr. Andrew Sabio and Francis Santos, said, let's do a tournament where it's only your class and my class and a couple other classes, because, a lot of shit talking happens, and let's settle it. And they just happened to be basketball players. So in 1985, tournament started, 10 teams, finished in a weekend. Here we are going into, I think it's the 36th year of the tournament. And we went from 10 teams over 3 days to, what did y'all have last year? 28?
28, yeah.
28 teams last year.
Damn.
And it went from a weekend to 3 weeks. 19 days total if you're counting.
Yeah. And 120 kegs.
Every day. Yeah.
Kegs. So, but it's the perfect venue for a bunch of beer drinkers to kind of settle the small little battles that we used to face all the time, right? I could fucking beat those guys. These guys that were seniors, you're freshmen, I got a chance now to get back at them. And the thing about it is the environment we provide is it's kind of like Vegas. So even if you're not a basketball player and you come, we laugh about it there, but that shit doesn't make it outside anywhere else.
Right.
I've never seen jousting on social media. Really. You know what I'm saying? So,
or Lenny.
But yeah, so that's that. Yeah, Lenny shooting half-court shots with no shirt.
In game.
In game.
With no shirt at the end of game. That's scary. So, but yeah, that's what our tournament's about. Like you said, you did it 5 years ago. He just did it last year. It's a lot. It's grown. It's gone from a frat party to, hey, you can bring your wife and your kid and stuff like that, which for me I appreciate as the coach because of the school, because now you got young kids coming in, moms, dads bringing in, hey, come, let's go watch and see what you would get if you graduated from this school. So for me, that's kind of the win that we had. And not, for the rest of us,
it's kind of like an unintended benefit, right?
Well, at the end of the day, we're, us alumni, we're here to somehow, some way support the school. Yes, it gives us all this kind of added value of being able to hang out with the people we want to hang out with. But at the end of the day, I mean, we want to come back, and in some small way, even though we really didn't pay for it ourselves, we want to kind of pay it forward and give someone else an opportunity to go and share the experiences with.
Yeah,
that's the way I look at it.
And even as a non-basketball player who never played basketball in high school, I feel like it's even become more than just basketball. Right. And like you said, and that's where that's where we try to convince our classmates, like, hey, man, you don't have to come play. Right. You can come hang out with us and sit behind the bench and, cheer us on. And it kind of helped build that camaraderie. Mm-hmm. But, you still find people who are just like, nah, I'm done with FD shit.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, man, that's cool.
John Paul Durking.
Yeah.
I don't think we talked about this story the last time, but the fucking guy. So it was like our third year graduated in the tournament. We had 4 guys. We needed a 5th guy to start the game. All John Paul had to do was step on the court. He peeked in to see. And all he had to do was step on the court so they could fucking jump ball. And then the 4 of us that we had, we would have whipped that team's ass by 40. But he didn't want to do it. So we ended up forfeiting. And when we forfeited, we ended up getting up beers, going outside to the breezeway. And then we were all like, John Paul, what the fuck, dude? If you just stood on the goddamn court, we would have played with the 4. We would have played with 3 and beat these fools. You know what I'm saying? Like, we would have killed them. And John Paul goes, yeah, but if you guys did that, then who the fuck's going to sit out here and drink with me?
Okay. Makes sense.
Okay. Well, can't argue that.
Yeah, there's always reason to season. And this year we're kind of facing a peculiar thing where there might not even be a tournament. After all these years, this is probably the first time that that the tournament is in jeopardy.
Yeah, it's a long shot, but I think it's still possible. But the pandemic creates a lot of added layers now we have to go through. It's easy to host a tournament when all you have to do is go through your administration, but now that we have all these government entities that all of a sudden have a say and can have to check the box before you move forward, it's
makes it nearly impossible.
I mean, it's possible because fortunately we have, alumni that represent our similar interests and, in those positions in the government that, are lending their ear to the people that need to listen, but their voice to the people that need to listen. But, I think we got a chance. I think the governor going to PCOR 3 over the weekend kind of helps in a sense. So now it's going to be a little easier to put that through. But, we're just gathering numbers, man. I opened up the jungle and I'm saying, hey, we're out of the 7 days. We have 6 groups coming in. This is the amount of people we have every day. This is, what we did. And if you need to trace contact, we have their full information, full name, full phone number, email address. So provide all that back to those government entities and say, hey, we followed our procedures and our protocols. We haven't had a positive test. Nothing's been traced back to us. Give me 2 weeks and see what they say. They can only say no.
It's never going to be the same, though, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we run it. It's just going to be players, right? I mean, that's what we're anticipating. No crowd, so
yeah, it's just alumni for the most part. Which
early days.
That's what I was telling Dom. I was like, yeah, you take it back to that 1985 when it was 10 teams over a weekend when they were like, oh, I'm just going to go play basketball. I'm going to go play, I'm going to go play pickup rugby or something.
Right.
Throw the ball around. So, but yeah, but it's still hope out there. It's still possible. It's just. It's going to take a lot of work to get.
It's like a day by day thing, but this is like a year planning, like kind of down the drain,
Yeah,
that's like 5 or 6 months just completely lost.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
It is. Class.
2010. Yeah,
2010
got off the hook easy. Man. God.
So I mean, I think there should be something to where they should at least still, attempt a tournament or join next year, right?
Yeah, they'll get some help. They've already
that burden.
They've already donated some of their money to help the golf team that was going to Pinehurst and stuff like that. And we'll see what they can do labor wise. It's going to be hard. You guys, we're at an age where we're fucking grown men. It's kind of hard to say, hey, you have to do this.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's when you go through that experience of hosting an actual tournament, especially at how much the tournament's grown, it's almost like this unspoken initiation, further into the brotherhood, right?
For sure.
You either gain that respect or you lose some respect based on your class's ability to host a solid tournament. Yeah. So, I'm just kind of, for me, 2010, we're always competitive. Those are our younger brothers there. So we kind of, our class in particular, want them to go through that experience, right? And we want them to to, you know, we don't want to see them fuck up, right?
Yeah.
But we want to see them go through that, and
Go through
because
that
you kind of lose out. You kind of lose out on that. Oh man, I'm so glad my shit's done last year. You know?
Yeah, of course. Like, we want to go. We were talking about that because we had a pickup a couple weeks ago, and we're like, man, it feels so good to come in here and not have to fucking mop, stay till 4 a.m. until Uncle Johnny leaves, and you know what I mean. So we're we wanted to go through that experience, so.
But yeah, and just to put it in a basketball perspective, we run the largest basketball league/tournament on island. Like, we fit in over 90 basketball games in 19 days with 28 teams.
Can it be fought like with the nation?
No, I don't know about the nation easily, because
At least
the nation,
alumni wise.
Oh, alumni wise, yeah, we're definitely up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's 28 teams. I can't think of a basketball league. Even the hotel restaurant, I don't know.
I mean,
they have
out of all the
many.
stuff we run, that's definitely the most packed into a condensed period of time that you know we operate. So
Right.
Yeah, so that's I mean, that from the basketball aspect, we run the biggest basketball league, believe it or not. Yeah, we may not be basketball players and whatnot, but we still have the biggest basketball league compared to anyone else that runs leagues on the island. So that's something to be proud of, I think.
Yeah, and it's something definitely that's been built. Is that something that when you became the president, that you noticed that it'll constantly have to develop and evolve because you're adding teams every single year?
Not
Adding
necessarily.
18?
So my thing was, when I was just the sports chair of the organization, my thing was, we're not here to raise money. We're not here to be like an endowment per se. That's the endowment's job. That's why they're called that. We're here just to keep alumni engaged. And so that's my thing, is keep the alumni. So Tom's would always ask us, what can I do to help the alumni? I say, why don't you fix our fucking bathrooms, man? You know how many times guys go, hey, where's my fucking girlfriend? Here's where my wife going to go pee. And I say, oh, yeah, the teacher's lounge across the hall. It's fucking raining. You know what I mean? So I said, you want the alumni to come back. Show them where the fucking money that we're giving you is going. Fix the fucking bathroom. I mean, hell, Sonny had any relation? Are you related to Sonny?
Yeah.
Sonny, no, fucking real fucking story. Sonny comes here and he goes, Eddie, you guys make these fucking urinals so goddamn high. I don't know why you guys do. And he's fucking dead serious.
Yeah.
I thought he was fucking around. And Francis looks at me and Phil looks at me and goes, no, he's fucking serious. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And he goes, yeah, how the fuck I'm going to piss? There's always shit in the toilets. How am I going to piss? I'm like, Tom's just happens to walk by. I said, Mr. Thompson, have you met Mr. Edo yet? Mr. Edo, please advise the new principal of your problem. Fucking told Tom. Next day, they lowered that fucking urinal. You see that urinal there? That's fucking wrong.
It's borderline Japanese urinal.
Yeah. So, but yay.
But it almost seems like it goes hand in hand with whatever. I mean, I like the fact that we're able to still be engaged no matter what, and whether it's the alumni tournament, whether it's the gala, and FD, the Alumni Association has found ways to sort of keep it a year-round thing, right?
Well, we use sports to do that. That's really what it comes down to. We're trying to find sports that just kind of keep people interested. That's really what it comes to. I mean, softball. We have the green light to start softball on August 1st. You know what I mean? So now softball will begin August 1 again. That's going to be interesting. It's right down the road from you, Boo. You should come in.
Where?
Guerrero Field. But yeah, so it'll restart again. But yeah, it's bringing us all back, keeping us engaged, and fixing the jungle. You know what I mean? That was a big step because we got a new floor, but more importantly, we got bathrooms. So now you can bring your families and things like that in, and it. And it kind of...
It's not just a frat house.
Yeah, we
piss and shit anywhere.
Yeah.
But we had to kind of eliminate that because it's hard to recruit new students when that's what they think it is. I mean, students want to come, but they want to come for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, dude, hey, it's nice to fun and party, but take care of your business before you kind of do all that.
Yeah, man. The alumni tournament over the years, and my first alumni tournament attendance was in 2010. I didn't go for the first 5 years because, like I said, in my head, I thought it was a basketball thing. Like, no, I'm not a basketball player, It's like, But then when I came back from college and I found out, like what it really is about, and I was like, damn, okay, it's a chance to stay within that network, and it's easy to follow the network if you're not active in being there and allowing yourself to get to know the older class, but also get to know the younger class, right?
Oh, yeah. Sure. Yeah, you had a lot of time there, man.
Yeah, you kind of, I mean, over the years, you see the evolution of how the tournaments change just in my, 10-year tenure there. And you also,
And you've played every year?
I've played every single year, yeah. So, I mean, and, for me, one of the biggest takeaways from attending that tournament is every year you kind of build a stronger network with people, right? Even just within your own class. This year we had guys come back that I haven't seen since graduation. And, we've built a strong relationship, just being around them for those 18, 19 days, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a great experience. And you, as a young graduate, I think these young kids, if they continue to come around, they'll really start to gain an appreciation for what the Alumni Association is all about and growing that network and just being engaged in that community, so.
Yeah, for sure.
Even just the way your relationship evolves,
Mm-hmm.
with people. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's, you go there, you knew the guy in high school, and then all of a sudden you start hanging out, whether it's your own classmate or a guy up or down, you start hanging out with him, get to know him a little bit more. Oh, fuck, we're fucking similar. And
Right.
we like the same things, and next thing you know, you start hanging out, and that's those are fun as well. Just those evolving relationships.
And sometimes it can deal with like even business, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you find people who are in different industries and you're like, oh man, all of a sudden I need a freaking a dude who can do this for me, and I have it
Mhm.
because I'm actually making myself a part of it. And yeah, not to go too deep into the alumni tournament. I thought it would be a good opportunity because you both are here and you both are like deeply rooted in the basketball on Guam as a whole. And I don't think I've had anybody really on the podcast who, I mean, besides you, but the last time you're here, but we talked purely about the alumni tournament. We never really got to talk about Guam basketball and where it's going and how it's been able to evolve, right? And how it's been able to find success over the last decade. Would you say like the last decade was probably Guam's like best decade?
Yeah, maybe 6 years.
Yeah, about
7
I
years.
mean, starting 2013, 2014
Yeah.
is when it really started to kick off.
Yeah. And and it's pretty awesome to see that basketball is just one of those sports because, right, we're not known for our height here, but definitely tenacity, grit, and hard work. And to where there's even the elite basketball gym, which you're a part of.
Yep.
Yeah. So were you
founder?
Yeah. So you were a part of with like the building, and Maria was part of that too. Yeah.
No, so that's
Okay,
a completely different gym. Yeah, that's the National Training Center, which was
okay.
at one time it was if anyone remembers, it was the old T-Den military gym way back in the day. It
Where
was
the
kind
soccer fields are.
yeah, directly
kind of in
across
the
the,
back?
old
NAS, Naval Air Station.
Right.
directly across the old Gate Theater.
Right.
Yeah. So, what year did GBC complete the?
I want to say 2016, maybe.
Yeah. For me and Eddie can really attest to this as a player on the national program. One of our biggest hurdles was always finding that facility where we can actually train out of. I remember just being on the junior national program. We had practice 4 times a week, and we would practice at 4 different gyms, right? So
At the mayor's office.
office. I remember practicing at PD Middle School, going to Mooning Gym. I mean, just finding ways that we could continue to stay in
DJ
shape.
used to turn mid-pack into a basketball gym. Just put up 2 portable
In the
courts on each
warehouse?
side. In the warehouse, dude. Just put up 2 portables. We didn't even have lines, but it got us a chance to do drills and take shots. So
Right.
Yeah, so that really solved a huge problem for Guam basketball as an organization, is just having that home where players can work out and get solid training camps in.
To provide that consistency, right?
For sure.
So was the national basketball court built before the elite court, or was that 2 different?
Well, so yeah, it's two different
largely different times.
Yeah, two different gyms, 2 different purposes, 2 different organizations. Guam Elite really started as a way to train kids, right? We had no intention of, training kids on the national level, although many of our players are now feeding into the system. But Elite
You
Gym
inadvertently became a feeder,
you can somewhat say that. I mean,
like a farm.
Yeah,
Right.
most of our kids now, I mean, most of the kids that we worked with, we started in 2016, are now some of the top up and coming players. So, we have a bunch of them at FD right now, getting ready for their first year in.
Yeah,
I can just interrupt you real quick.
Yeah,
So just
that one tall kid, Figurer.
Yeah, but but
that was a work in progress for Eddie. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
it's different. But to understand what Dom and Will, what they did is they took a niche in basketball in the sense of just kind of individual development.
Yeah.
They basically took the 5-man game and broke it down to 1-man, 2-man, sometimes 3-man concepts, and that's the skills they taught. The national was more of a 5-on-5, 3-on-3 to 5-on-5 concept. So they had a niche that they found working with these kids and saying, hey, I have this ball, it's in this space, what can I do with it? You add a second person, sometimes you add a third person to add a read. That's what they focused on. The national team was more about, hey, we want to take those 3-man concepts and take it up to 5. So that's kind of the difference of what they were doing versus what the national team was doing. So to how it feeds in, naturally, when you start building those skills. And even if you're not necessarily building it, you're just sharpening it in those 3-man situations. And that's kind of what Dom and them was doing. It was a real good thing.
Real genius attempt to start developing players.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
and it seems like you've been a part of it for a while. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been
training.
individually training kids. I mean, Mike, you had him on the show last time. He was really that group right there was really my first group that I really took under my wing to train individually.
How old are you?
I was about 22 years old at the time. I'm 30 now, but I had Mike, Takumi Simon, Tony Shea, a lot of those St. John's kids, and really, developed them, and they were kind of my guinea pigs. At the start of it, I could honestly say I was not a good trainer. I'm still learning today, but compared to I was at that time, now I think it's a whole complete 180. And you kind of learn along the way as you go, right? When you get these kids in and you see their development and you start thinking of ways that you can do it on a more mass scale. This whole thing started with Will. He was playing professional ball in New Zealand, and one of his teammates ran an actual academy in New Zealand, which was one of the more popular skills development training programs. So he kind of rung me up from New Zealand and said, hey, when I get back, let's get together and see how we can develop, get a program going, and we'll kind of copy the blueprint that his teammate was already creating. So when he came back, we just got it off the ground running, just reached out to my network of parents who I've worked with. And from there, it just kind of grew into, what it is today. Obviously right now we're not doing anything, right? But once sports get back, we'll be able to get these kids back and going.
Just the fact that you guys have been able to get enough kids to train to build your own gym is pretty insane.
Oh yeah, it was. Well, we're no longer in that facility. We actually partnered with the national program, so we're doing a lot of stuff with them. But, we started in September of 2016, and 2 months later, we're in our own facility for the next 2 years. So that was a fun experience. But at the same time, the national program was really building up. I know the men had just won the gold, their first in, what was that, 30 some years?
79, I think it was.
Yeah, so they,
one of those years.
That was South Pacific game?
But it was still the South Pacific Games gold, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it just kind of tied into what we were doing, and we felt
it only made sense.
Yeah, it only made sense. Basketball, the community of basketball here is really small, so merging with the national program allowed us to build on that platform and continue to grow the sport. So, guys like Eddie, guys like EJ, Jimmy, all these guys that have been contributing to basketball on a national level, it was only right that we partnered up and made things go even further.
Yeah, man, and I think for a lot of sports that's what's missing here on Guam, right? It's only been working for soccer for a really long time, because you see kids as young as 4 playing soccer, and some of these kids at 4 years old now play on the national level, and now you're going to start seeing that more and more as this farm program, right? It's
soccer,
safe to call that,
soccer's doing it right, because they are, they're starting young and they're certifying coaches. They're teaching the same skills, so there's kind of a standardized method of how they're kind of bringing these kids up.
Yeah.
Not a certain style of play, but at least fundamentally, they have a program from them, under 5, under 6, under 8, under 10, that kind of thing. With basketball, we're kind of still in that area where there's the age group of the kids is still a little diverse. You know what I mean? Dom probably works from like 5 and 8 year olds together, and that's tough. Or even 9 to 12 year olds together, that's tough.
That's true.
Even 9 to 11 year olds.
Is it mindset or is it physicality?
It's both, man. You could, especially at a young age, you can really tell the skill level from like even just a 7-year-old and an 8-year-old. Just that 1 year of development just makes a world of a difference. It gets a little bit There's more of a gray area by the time they get to high school. You know what I mean? There's freshmen that could compete and in most cases beat, or in some cases beat seniors. You know what I mean? As far as skill level and in-game decision making. So that's always been a challenge. Is for us, I think it's just the lack of coaches coming forward and really coming together is what is one of the bigger issues, because for some reason, I know Eddie can attest to this, for whatever reason out there, I mean, there's just such a competitive nature amongst coaches and clubs out here that for whatever reason it is, we can't seem to come together. We're working on it. It's made significant strides, but it's still not at a level where we need everyone to come together for the betterment of the sport, right? So
it's just a very strong, there's a style of coaching or styles of coaching that are they've been very successful with, and for some reason they don't want their kids crossing over the line and saying, hey, go train with them because of whatever reason. I mean, there shouldn't even be at them. Go train with coach whoever, because that's an opportunity for that player to learn something different, to play something new. I mean, just like rugby, there's no right or wrong way to do things per se. You can still get to the end differently. You can play fast, you can play slow, you can play physical, you can finesse them, you can stay close and wear them down. I mean, there's so many different ways to do it. So there's no one way that it's taught that the game is taught to be played. And I think,
and this is in regards to like style of play. Right.
Well, and not only that, but just the competitiveness, just the, hey, you don't have time to go work on because we're working on trying to win like a high school championship. I mean, dude, winning a high school championship in basketball here apparently is really big. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't get it. You know what I mean? I got one more year doing this thing, and they keep asking me, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I was sure. I wanted to leave this year. Shit, I just completed this fucking season that was unbelievable. I wanted to be John Elway and fucking walk into the fucking sunset. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But unfortunately with Tom's, I got my, I told him I give him a year of charity. This is my year of charity coming up, but yeah, man, it's unfortunately it's really a lot of high school coaches are ultra competitive and they want to keep their players as their players, and I think a lot of it too has to do with kind of a lack of confidence, maybe.
Man, but that takes away from allowing these players to develop and actually represent Guam, right? And be that. And I'm sure there's a lot of great players who aren't allowed to even like step on the court. Is that a thing? Like
Yeah, there's eligibility guidelines when it comes to those kind of things, but you're absolutely right, Boo. Especially at the junior level, they don't want their player to come play for you, even though you're not wearing that high school umbrella or middle school umbrella, even though you're wearing the Guam umbrella. They still don't want them to come out because they're afraid, one, you're going to recruit them to go to your school, because obviously I coached at private school or schools before, so we have the ability to handle.
I know FD gives out those scholarships.
Yeah. And you know what? And we sure fucking do. But the thing about it is, I want to say about 80% of our scholarships go to, number one, they're all paid for. They're not just handouts. Like, someone pays for these things. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing. And no. Yeah. But somebody actually pays for those freaking scholarships. So, it's, is it a scholarship? Yes, but it's not full. Sometimes it's just partial. Sometimes the kids only gets just a little bit of something, but someone works hard to do it. And, for me,
who was the first one to get one of those scholarships?
He was one. This motherfucking guy was on a scholarship. Really? He was on the Isaiah Pelkey scholarship. That fool just graduated in 2020. But no, they've had a whole bunch of them. There's small groups of people that have kind of done things, and now with the endowment coming in, the endowment's kind of funneled it. I think they gave about just in academic and other scholarships, probably almost 20 grand, something like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But a lot of these scholarships are, you have to speak 3 languages. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, certain scholarships have certain criteria. No,
That's
really.
Nearly impossible.
You have to be, if you're a minority, you have to represent 2 different minorities. You know what I'm saying? Your GPA has to be so high. You have to be something in robotics or something like that. I mean, it's, people think it's just, all they think about is sports scholarships because, are we competing well?
Can I get a light? Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Light anything is fine. And you can just pass.
But yeah, man, it's but for me, I don't know about you guys, but the quality of education you get out of Father Dueñas, you know what I mean? It prepares you. If you go to college, no matter what freaking college you go to, you're going to be prepared. You're going to have the basics. Now,
I don't know.
If you don't do the work, then whatever. But it at least gives you the basic life skills necessary to be successful in whatever. Whatever.
Kids these days aren't probably writing Jameson papers, right? So
I think she's still there. I think
way.
No, I'm not sure. I know. I don't know, man. I've said, the problem is I was like one of those really bad students. No, really, dude.
She was there when you were there?
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah, man.
Dang, dude.
Dude, one of the greatest things was, 95 sucks, bro. Those guys, so we played football one year, right? True story. So it was my junior year. The Keone Badua, Bruce Meno, John Balaja, those guys were all the 95 guys, right?
Yep.
And her son, Miss Jameson's son, I forget, I think it was Curtis, was the fucking kicker for GW. And she talked so much mad shit. Like, she talked so much mad shit, like the principal, Bill Roth at the time, was fucking getting mad. Like, I understand you're supporting your child. However, you're saying it to kids that are going to be your child's opponents.
Yeah. And are raging full of testosterone.
I can't stop them from doing to your child. And, but her son's the kicker, so I guess she wasn't overly concerned.
Yeah.
So anyways, what do you call it? She talked all that mad shit, bro, the whole week before the game, right? And, fucking 2 undefeated teams going to meet, and she kept fucking GW's going to beat you, GW's going to beat you. So whatever. So we're up 6-0, right? Because, of course, they're the only team that has a kicker back then. Like FD's the only team that has a kicker now. You know what I mean? So they're up. We go up 6-0, and fucking, dude, less than a minute to go, I'm the safety dude. I'm not going to lie. I was beat on this play, too. But they throw it, fucking cornerback gets beat. Joseph Martinez, class of 96. Fuck that guy. F you, Joseph. But he gets beat, and I'm fucking coming to cover him, right? And we fucking don't get the guy. He gets the ball, scores the touchdown. Dude, there's like fucking 20 seconds to go in the game. Okay? 20 fucking seconds to go in the game. And all they got to do is make the extra point. If they make the extra point, they kick off. Fucking, we got to go. Our quarterback used to be a fucking guard, dude. Like an offensive guard for 3 years. And then senior year, he fucking became quarterback. I'm like, there was no fucking development here, all right? He wasn't. And the funny thing is, he was first team All-Island. That made it even funnier. But anyways,
just threw one good spiral during practice.
Right.
You're the guy. You're the guy.
And it wasn't even during practice. It was after practice.
Yeah. Score 6-6. And all the fucking kicker got to do, who just happens to be Miss Jameson's son, all he got to do is make the extra point. The motherfucking guy misses it, right? So he misses it. They kick off. Game goes into overtime, right? Game goes into overtime. We kick off to them, and Keone Dua makes one of the fucking greatest football plays I've ever had the privilege of watching. He fucking stands the guy up on the fucking kickoff to them, stands him up, lifts him up, and literally strips the ball out, throws him to the ground, and runs the other way for a touchdown, and we win the game in overtime. Right after the fucking son misses the kick. So that was like a Friday night, Saturday game. So Monday, right? All those guys, they fucking, I don't know what class they were in. They came to Miss Jameson's class, and when she walked, she was there or whatever. And right when she was going to start class, they fucking completely ignored her, and they reenacted the son missing the kid. They had 2 guys stand fucking holding their fucking arms like this, dude, fucking holding the goalposts, and then they had the fucking, like, whoever their blonde-haired fucking classmate was that had hair like him, put a helmet on him, fucking painted GW and shit all over it, and fucking had him kick like a paper football, right? And he fucking missed it, and all you see is the fucking... And every time she kept to do it, she fucked. Then they kept doing it until she fucking cried and walked out, dude.
Oh my god.
So yeah, karma's a bitch, dude. Karma's a bitch, dude. But
she had it coming. She had it.
Karma's a bitch, but we still call her Miss Jameson.
Yeah, sure did, dude. But yeah, dude. So those guys were kind of fucked. I did some fucked up shit, dude. We had me and my party Tony, dude. We did so you ever notice that she always wore kind of the same shit all the time? Like that
like
blue dress.
That big blouse.
Like a big blouse.
Yeah, the fucking sperm shirt. You guys remember the sperm shirt?
No.
It was like a blue shirt that had like yellow, looked like fucking sperm, dude. So anyways, one of our other classmates was like an artist. So what we did is we had him make like fucking paper cutouts of what she would wear. And me and my party Tony ran a fucking, like, what is she going to wear today, dude? We made so much money on that, dude. That wasn't funny, dude. Dude, no joke, dude. Like $20 a week, dude. $20 a week, just getting $1. Hey, what do you think she's going to wear? If you take it, you win the daily pot or whatever it is, bro. If not, it just stays with the house. Dude, fuck. We used to mix and match it. She had the sperm shirt. She had the shower curtain. She had the fucking funeral dress, the Barney gown. No joke, dude.
I'm pretty sure when I was there, her style evolved quite possibly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw her.
I must have been a really good kid. Jesus.
No, dude. I was, I was bad because she ended up getting, I guess her youngest child ended up being a girl, and she ended up getting involved in like one of those cultural dance groups like Baha'i or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
So I saw her at UOG when they're doing that. I said, hey, Miss Jameson. And she just fucking looked at me like she did not want to fucking say anything to me. And me being the asshole I was, I fucking went and spoke to her anyway. Fuck, dude. So, oh well, man.
Well, before we get away from ourselves, we were on the basketball competitiveness of high school basketball.
Yeah.
And how it's currently affecting the development of a potential working program here on Guam.
Yeah. There's still, pockets.
Yeah.
No one's, we still have this group and that group and then everybody else, and it's unfortunate it's still like that up to now. We want to make it where, hey, we're all Guam. When it comes to that, you got to be able to, set that high school uniform aside or high school coaching shirt aside and just, come on, man, this is bigger than.
Do you think it's an FD thing?
No.
That a lot of the players come from, or that a lot of the people who are kind of leading the way are from FD?
I don't think
Dom. What do you think, Dom?
I'm speaking from a position of, being in that situation. So yeah. I can't say that's how it is now. It has really changed a lot in the last 18, 24 months as far as the kids representing different schools in the program, at least on the junior level. But when I was in high school and going through the junior national program, I can kind of see why, obviously we had Tomps leading the way. We had EJ in there. We had, I don't know if you were coaching at the time. It was either you or your dad. For whatever reason, it was FD leading the way, and it kind of happened like that. I mean, if these guys are willing to volunteer their time and share their knowledge on that level, then and it happens to be FD, it's not to say that there weren't other coaches from other schools. Sid Guzman came out of Southern High. Gino Hahn was involved, but a lot of the players that did come out during the time I was playing were from FD. We had a couple Sanchez guys, so I can see why some players would be turned off by that, but until they get their feet wet in the program, understand the program, go through the process, they're just prejudging how the experience will turn out.
Preconceived
notion. Yeah. And I also think that part of the reason that it's kind of had those players and coaches is because and I hate to allude to that, but it's a different financial background that a kid that would come from, just say generally a GDOE school, than a kid that would come from Father Lucas or St. John's or Harvest or one of those, or St. Paul's for that matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So sometimes at the national level, when you're trying to compete and you're trying to compete quickly because you're trying to build that program. Remember, Guam basketball was, we were around, but, the Pacific Games was kind of the highlight. EJ came in and said, fuck the Pacific Games, I want to win fucking Asia, which, hey, you're crazy, but goddamn, you won some games, shit.
Yeah.
Everyone believes you. So the fact that we have to find kids quickly, you know what I mean? And it's easier to call a kid who, is already in a private system where parents have a little bit more disposable income to do that versus a kid, because Guam basketball doesn't have the resources to pay for all these trips. GFA gets a great amount of financial assistance that they actually have full-time positions, but that took years of people working hard to build.
So it's still a volunteer system, sort of?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Completely. I mean,
everything. The whole board, everyone on the board, from coaches, players, and that's always been one of the biggest hurdles for players.
And this is both for the women's and the men's.
Yep. Even the junior national program, everything. I mean,
as a national team coach, I have, because of the big fat fucking black man, I have skipped a trip to Florida with my son to go to Disney, to go to fucking Pompeii, and pay half my way there, just to coach the women's national team in 2014. You know what I'm saying? So, I think people don't understand the level of commitment that comes into it. You know what I mean? And the ability to kind of separate those lines, per se, of high school and all this other coaching that you've been through. So, but,
it takes some level of love and want to do it, to continue to do it.
I mean, that's what it is. No one's getting paid to do this, from the players, board members, coaches. Everyone's just doing it out of the love of the game, man, and trying to grow the sport.
Trying to figure out which bake sale you need to, or which places you need to sell the lunch plates to, right?
Which T-shirt design you want to sell to mom's work.
Yeah, and it's quite unfortunate.
No, I mean, no, and I feel like that goes across every sport except soccer, right? So,
well, the Guam basketball's headed in the right direction. They're getting in a direction where we can build. So, we'll see where they go from there. So,
and for both the women's and the men's.
Oh yeah.
There's
obviously
there's no real difference or divide in between.
I mean, the men obviously they've had more success, so they're getting more attention. And with that, a lot of the resources, I think, gets turned to them a little bit more often as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The women, we're now seeing a change where, that group of women, that core 3, 4, 5 girls are kind of setting off now. And now these young girls are coming in again. Now we have this youth movement. It's a brand new team that's got some really ultra-talented female basketball players now. The problem with women is you don't know what their life plans are.
Right.
And if they, if they want to get pregnant, guess what? They ain't making games.
Right.
So, but yeah, man, it's fun coaching them. It's.
Is there a talent dump, where like people don't want to play here, or they're given opportunities to play elsewhere, and that's where they dedicate all their time to?
For me, I think I'm just talking about females, women,
men, females, whatever it may be.
For females, one of the hardest things about basketball is if you don't possess a little bit of size and athleticism, it's going to be really hard to compete at the next level. High school girls basketball in Guam shows where coaching is very effective because you're taking pretty much a level playing field. Yeah, you may have 1 or 2 players that are a little bit more aggressive, but skill-wise, they're not really going to separate themselves. They just do something a lot better than somebody else is really what it comes down to. But because they don't possess, genetically, culturally, just being from Guam, whatever you want to call it, we don't possess the size and athleticism.
Right. We're going to have to go recruit some stateside bred.
Well, 99,
people, right?
99 SPG. I told Fred Peters, who's 6'4", and Tosca Lindbergh, who's 6'3", the two of them should get together. My dad was willing to foster. And, that'll breed the next generation of athletes.
I had no idea where that was headed, but I was like,
born on Guam.
Okay.
Born on Guam. Come on, 6'4", 6'3", born on. We'll have guys like Matt Fegiger. I mean, look at that freaking kid. Holy cow!
That's a diamond in the rough right there,
dude. He's 6'10", 6'11",
6'9",
6'9",
6'9", but
he's still probably going to grow for another 4 years.
It's special when you see a 6'9" guy born and raised here.
Yeah.
That's what makes it real special. Before him it was Ben Borja, but Ben
left.
Yeah, Ben left his freshman year.
I saw him his freshman year. I told his mom and dad, he got no business on Guam.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you want him, it's, and again, we're going to those, opportunities that kids have in high school. Hey, don't stay here. Matt, financially, he's got no issues on Guam. He can always go out and compete then, but. The problem with Matt, though, is he was always hurt. He always, he was going through growing pains. I mean, the kid went from 6'1" to 6'9" in all 4 years of high school, and he had a big growth spurt, I think, sophomore to junior year.
Jeez.
He had foot issues. He had all these kind of things, and then finally he,
Here I am complaining about my shoulder.
Yeah. Well, the day that Tom's collapsed and passed away, he broke his hip at the National Gym. We had something going on. I think they had a 3-on-3 going on that day, and he
fell down.
He fell down, and he was kind of clumsy because his freshman year, his sophomore year, he's always had some sort of nagging injury, whether it be a shoulder, whether it be
Has he always been a basketball player? Was he one of those developmental players?
Yeah, they kept trying to develop him, but the problem is, we forget that these kids grow so quickly. So when they develop at that already, as they get taller, they still have to continue to put the repetitions in.
And we're not used to training kids that tall. It's like, we're not change our strategy up a little bit.
Well, and honestly, I mean, Dom can attest to this. This team that I coached this past year, I mean, it was fun.
Yeah.
That's why when Dom came to me, at the beginning of the season or prior to the season, about a couple months before, right? And he goes, "Hey, man, he started Clutch Guam," and then all of a sudden he goes, "Dude, I've been thinking about this for a while." So,
wow.
Yeah, but anyways, so he followed us throughout the season, and it's for Matt specifically, it's nice to kind of see it. He still got kind of hurt in the middle of the season, but fortunately, having a PT on your staff, it's nice to kind of be able to monitor that as well. His dad's a doctor, and although he's a surgeon and knows he can fix everything, you still, it's nice to have a PT that can communicate that to him at that level.
Shout out to Chris.
Yeah, shout out to Chris Fernandez. But, to communicate at that level, at that professional level, and say, look, I'll play him, but he's going to get hurt and blah, blah, blah. Come on, let's do it this way. So, but yeah, man, that kid's just, dude, unbelievable. The things he did when we won the fucking Kanto Plains. You know what I mean? That was just, we lost.
What is that for people who don't know?
So the Kanto Plains Classic is kind of like the Far East tournament if you were back in the
what it used
80s,
what
90s. The Far East basketball
used to be?
tournament.
Yeah.
They used to be, they used to have wrestling. They used to have volleyball, boys and girls, or something like that. Track and field, I think, had it. A couple other sports.
And it was the Dodea schools with Guam teams.
Yeah,
going
basically. So it's
to-
like eight to nine Dodea schools and international schools within the Dodea system, competing against like 7 to 8 Guam schools back in the days. But we go because we got invited. Old friends, the AD, now he's retired, but he invited us, specifically Father Duenas, because we always competed against his school and his American school in Japan. Man, fuck, that's a beautiful campus, Dom.
Yep.
But anyways, but yeah, when we won that Kanto Plains, and I saw what Matt did against people that were his size, you know what I mean? Because on Guam, you can do all that. That's what everyone said. He can dunk on anybody. You're damn right he can, because we throw him the ball in the right spot. But when he was doing it against guys his size, when he was using his footwork and actually pulling his skill work, some of the moves he put, I was like, holy shit, Matthew, it's been a while.
Right.
You know what I mean? And but when we won that, I was like, man, this kid he's special, man. I mean, yeah, he's 6'9", but like I said, 6'9" to be killing the kids that are also 6'8", 6'7", 6'9", 6'10". It was
putting the actual challenge in front of him.
Yeah, so it was for me just capping off.
What are his plans? Is he gonna go play?
He's going to prep school in
In Rhode Island.
Yeah, Rhode Island. There you go.
Oof.
So it's somewhere.
St. Andrews. St. Andrews, Rhode Island.
That's the one where the coach is the big boy. He's the big man specialist, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going. He had 2 prep schools that were giving him a lot of financial assistance. So basically, these are like not really JCs, but feeder schools, kind of like what Jamar White's going through right now. Formerly from St. Paul.
The purpose of those schools is to get into a sporting program and feed into a college.
So you would spend the first 1 or 2 years playing at this school.
1 year. I think it's a 1-year program.
Okay.
Against other prep schools from around the country.
Right.
So
and getting scouted and stuff.
Yep. That's the sole purpose of prep schools is to go out, get scouted, hopefully make it to a D3, D2, D1 program.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh.
But yeah, so for him, it's easy to kind of market him now because, like I said, we had Dom follow us all season. We gave him access to everything. And,
he has a whole senior year highlight tape.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, yeah. Man, his highlight tape is something you would probably see on, like, if anyone's familiar with Ball is Life or Overtime. I mean, his highlight mix is crazy. But, yeah, man, I think having Matt was a huge asset to my following on Clutch, just seeing a local dude dunking on dudes, like alley-oop plays from the baseline.
Backboard swats, man.
Like hitting the fucking ball on the board, bringing it down, some Jordan-esque stuff, it's...
Straightening the backboard on fucking at the jungle.
Yeah, everything aligned just perfectly. So, going back to kind of how we got into this whole, and if you guys haven't seen the documentary, check it out. Kind of covers the entire FD season from a bird's eye view, but I was coaching at FD for the past couple years with Eddie, just assisting, being more of a skills development coach, and I kind of picked up a camera in between that time and really fell in love with the process of filmmaking and capturing, more notably, sports moments, right? Sharing sports stories. So it's for my biggest thing with this project was just getting people to really see the program. Because I've been a part of it. I've been a player, been a coach, and I just wanted to share this experience with others, right? So, I messaged Eddie saying, I can't come back and coach this year, but can we do this project, So he gave me full access, every single practice, every locker room talk, every game, we're going through the motions. And, after he said yes, 5 minutes later, he texted back. He's like, hey, if I can get your ticket paid for to Japan, would you go? I was like, dude, hell yeah, bro, I'll go to Japan too. So, we went through the whole season, and for me, it was a real awesome experience, taking a backseat from that coaching role, that training role, and just really observing the whole process from a bird's eye view, and really getting in depth into the program and what it's all about. And basketball is always going to be basketball, right? But when you get these group of coaches and these group of guys together, and you really see the progression of how they improve over a season,
what
right?
it takes on the coach's level, and also what it takes on the player's level.
Definitely. And you could really, for me, getting to interview these guys and get to know both players and the coaches, you really start to understand, why they work so hard, why they do the things they do, right? Why they commit all these sacrifices for a common goal, right? And for me, it was, one of my biggest things was I told Eddie before the season, I was like, man, if we don't win this year, I don't know if we should, I'm really willing to put in this work and not release it, right? And he just comes back and is like, no, fuck that. We're gonna release it no matter what happens, right? And I think just going through this whole process and the success that we had just made it for a great storyline. And all of this was just candid, man. I just turned on the camera, capture moments. Nothing was pre-planned. Yeah. This was all just capturing the moment.
And action.
Yeah, and action. And
Eddie, go ahead and say that one more time.
Yeah. I'll give, for me, right?
One more time.
The highlight of this whole documentary that I made, it's like a 45-minute documentary, but going on this Japan trip, man, was just the craziest experience, Boo. And it's kind of hard to understand, right? So these guys, we lost 2 games in pool play. We played a total of, how many games did we play? 8 games in 3 days, right? So on the fucking last day, these guys had to win 4 games to win the whole thing. So we're literally up by 7 a.m. Dude, I can only imagine how tired the fucking players were. My arm was hurting just holding the camera the whole time. So these guys get up at 7 a.m. We're at a first game by 9. Right, we win that game. This was a winner go home scenario.
Yeah. We had to take an hour bus ride to get to that gym.
That's true, yeah. So these guys win the game by 9, right? We come back, and in all honesty, in my head, I'm like, man, there's no way we're gonna pull this off,
Yeah.
So these guys come back. We had about a 12:30 game, another hour bus ride to get to the facility. We win that game, right? We're like, okay, we're on a good track here. The semifinal game, what was really special in the documentary is we won that game against, one of the top players in the tournament, a 6'8" junior that Matt just absolutely manhandled down low. But anyways, what made this special was Matt was the MVP of the tournament, our go-to guy, no doubt. But he ended up getting injured. I mean, not injured. He had full body cramps after that game. So these guys go into the championship game without Matt, right? And, you could just really see the confidence of the players, man. Like, it's special to see when your go-to guy goes down, and that doesn't deter the morale of the team. If anything, it hypes them back even more. I mean, that was just real special to capture on camera, and it showed, man. That championship game, these guys, I mean, when you watch the teams warm up, Kadena, right? These dudes are big, man. They got like, the average starting lineup was probably like 6'2", 6'3", just the dudes, man. All the guards, they're dunking in warm-ups. They're fresh. They only played 3 games, right? We're on our 4th. But as soon as we come out of the game, man, these guys just out of the gate defensively, just getting on their ball handlers. I mean, they've never taken the lead the entire game, right? So these guys
finish, man.
Yeah, it was
without our best player, without the 6'9" guy,
without the MVP,
man. And it was special to capture on camera and to be able to share that story. I think really would resonate with a lot of basketball players here. So
yeah, man, and it's cool because it kind of shows you the grit that the other players had, and they weren't completely leaning on one player. Everybody knew that they had a role to play.
Yeah, and that's the challenge of any team in general.
Right.
And at FD basketball, you got to remember that we got the best kid from St. Francis and the best kid from San Vicente and the best kid from Bishop and the best kid from St. Anthony and and they're all coming and they're saying, I'm the best. And I'm like, holy shit, how the fuck are you saying? Not really. He's the best. But I need you to be good. You know what I mean? But when the game,
by default.
Yeah.
Because of his stature.
Yeah.
But when the game's on the line, he's going to get the ball. Right. Unless you prove otherwise in the game, So, man, it was special. It was fun for me because, I reached back to him after it ended and said, hey, can you send me this? Can you send me that? Just to, as a coach, it's, I literally gave him full access. I told him, I said, I don't give a shit. Just don't put me cursing because that's not good for young Catholic boys coming through Father's Way. So find a way to cut that shit out. But, for me, it was good. It as a coach, you're just, I get tunnel vision. I'm just like, I know what the end goal is and we're going to get there. You plot the course, you stay the course, you got to deviate from time to time, but the course doesn't change. And, I knew he was there, but you kind of, after a while he disappears. And then when I see some playback, some of those clips, like when he sent me the ASIJ clip, I mean, we first game of the tournament and we sucked. And you know me, man, I don't sugarcoat things very well.
Yeah.
So, he comes up and he goes, can I get an interview? I said, yeah. He gets down and he fucking pops that shit.
Interview, dude.
Yeah, he puts that shit down and and I'm looking at him and and I'm saying we fucking suck. Like we couldn't do this, we couldn't, and the whole time I'm looking at him and he's He's giggling, which is pissing me off even more. You know what I mean? I'm like, fuck you. Why are you laughing at me? You know what I mean? You don't fuck. You know what I mean?
We just lost. This is important.
You know what I'm saying? Well, you're the one asking me, and you're fucking laughing at me. You know, and I can't get mad. I'm just so mad. I'm like, you know, fuck, dude. And he captures that shit and finds a way and puts it in the fucking thing. And I look at him. He sent it to me like maybe about when we came back. He goes, "This is my favorite." Out of the blue, this is my favorite. I fucking go. I said, "Fuck."
Yeah, there's a lot of footage there that we could not put on YouTube. We'll probably get banned, or
We're gonna have to go on Live Leak.
get demonetized on YouTube.
Yeah, for me it was fun. From a coaching perspective, it was fun because we won. But you know, just the whole, you know, being able to look back on it and just continuously. And my son graduated this year too, so he was part of the team.
Extra special.
To kind of share that with him, it's definitely fun, man. Big props to Dom and Clutch for fucking putting that shit together.
Yeah. From a coaching standpoint, you know, do you stick with a plan and the players have to sort of follow, or do you adjust as necessary?
You have a base system that you try to implement and run. You know, defensively, offensively. This year we changed offensively.
Yeah, just pull the mic up.
Sorry.
I know. You don't have to put it right next to your face, but it's
But yeah, you know, we have a base defensive system that we obviously won't change from year to year. We did a lot more things more aggressively this year because you got a 6'9" guy on the backside blocking shots, so you can gamble a little bit more. Offensively, we kind of changed this year, so that was one of the major changes. But for the most part, no, man, you know. The nice thing about high school basketball is you see the kids come to the JV program, so you kind of watch them grow, and then you slowly kind of tailor everything you're doing to that skill set as they come up without, you know, you still have the course of what your base concepts are, but you just deviate a little bit and give a little bit more freedom in this area versus that area.
right.
You know, I mean, you know, this year we could throw the ball in the low post and get 2 points, but we didn't want to do that. We decided, hey, let's put him in pick and roll and then roll him down and then feed him. You know what I mean? Or throw it, you know, where we're going to play on one side and then throw it to the opposite side and feed him right away. So he didn't have people leaning on him all the time and things. And but yeah, there's concepts are the same. Base systems are pretty much the same. You might have to make some minor adjustments.
Yeah. Would you want junior high school? I was gonna say junior middle school coaches to sort of have how do I say that, the way they coach, right? Because this is at that point, this is where players are starting to play a little bit more organized, right?
Yeah, one of the things that I tried to do when, you know, I was at Academy and FD is, you know, I was talking to Miss Meeks at the time at Academy and Tom's at FD, and I said, get me into your middle schools. What are the middle schools that feed your program?
Damn, that's smart.
I said, get me into your middle schools. Let me work with their coaches. I said, let me teach them what my foundational system is. Just the coaches, you know, whatever basic offensive spacing, I'm going to teach them that. Whatever basic defensive principles, I'm going to teach them that. And the most important thing I'm going to teach them about that is not just the system, but the language of the system. So that way, when this player comes to me, I don't have to teach them a system or a language to go with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, simple example, you know, closeout. A closeout is you're where you're at, I'm where your table's at, and I have to sprint, break down, throw both hands in the air, chop my feet, and then get within a touching distance of you so you don't blow by me. That's a closeout. But if I have to say that as I'm teaching a practice, how much time did I just take to say that? So now you're working on more efficiencies than anything else. So that's why I wanted to get into the middle school system to kind of put those in place.
And it's not even necessarily anything tailored to your style of play. It's purely fundamental.
Basic basketball.
It's basic fundamental basketball, but now I'm just saying, can you just use this language? Yeah. If they go to another school, fine. Then maybe they use it, maybe they don't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but just use this language and teach this basic spacing. Like, this is how close I want the players on offense. This is what I want the players to do defensively based on where the ball is at. Teach those concepts, and you can change and build and do whatever else around it. It's fine. But just teach that basic system so when they come to me, now I'm building upon something versus teaching something. Yeah. And I think as a young child growing up, it's easier to build upon something that's strong foundationally than it is to continuously reteach him. I mean, Marcus Mariota sucks, but he's had 5 offensive coordinators.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know.
I like that reference.
But
he does.
But it's the truth. But he was the fucking number 2 pick, number 1 pick, whatever.
He won Heisman, right?
He won whatever, and he fucking sucked in Tennessee. Right. But if you look at it, his first 3 years or 4 years, he had an offensive coordinator, one guy after the other, after the other, after the other. So, you know, do you kind of blame him in a way? I mean, you know, you know, so that's the challenge I have as a coach is I come in and I basically have to wipe the slate clean. And again, I'm not wiping the slate clean because I'm saying that what they're being taught is not the right way that it's supposed to be taught. But I am saying that if they want to play for me, then this is the way they have to play.
Yeah.
That's all it is. You know what I mean? Now, when you get older and more mature, you can take that, flip the switch and says, because I'm playing for him, now I have to play this way. Or now I have to make this rotation instead of that rotation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's that's what I wanted to do. Never happened, never came to fruition for whatever the reasons are. But that, I think, if you're talking about Guam basketball in the long run, you need to do. At least for me, you know, and the challenge with that too is, you know, Dom talked about the competitiveness, right, of high school coaches. Well, now you go into middle school coaches, and now middle school coaches are like, what, you're saying that I'm not doing the right thing here? And I'm like, dude,
I can't. Stepping on the ego.
yeah, no, exactly. And I'm like, dude, this has nothing to do with it. I mean, dude, you don't give a shit what these kids do. They're not going to fucking graduate from 8th grade or move on from 8th grade and all of a sudden.
That's their life, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They got 4 years where they're going to grow up into what they call a young adult. They're still like, you know, they maybe, I don't know if they even got Pulu or not right now. You know what I mean?
If anything, they're being forced to play this game right now.
You know, I'm here because my friend's here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man, it's, I wish we could have done that and kind of, you know, I think for the sport to move in general, we have to have some sort of standardized fundamental system that gets implemented from the moment that they pick up a basketball all the way through. But the problem is we have two distinctly different youth organizations that are being run. You know what I mean?
Is there an outside youth organization?
Yeah, there's two of them right now.
Okay.
And then, you know, when Guam Elite was there, that put a third one in there.
Oh.
And, you know, so now you had 3 ways of the way things were kind of being run. There's not consistency being taught through all 3 lines. And then you take it at that young age and you start going up the line, and it's, you know, it's kind of the, you know, you got to break the cycle kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, that's the cycle it is. You know, I stay within this system all the way until I graduate, and that's it. Then I go fucking pump gas. You know, versus, you know, I fucking have an open mind and have more opportunity and saying, I don't have to pump gas. I can do something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's, you know, hopefully one day we get over it. Hopefully one day we get over that hump. For me personally, I'll be done coaching in a year. And then, you know, like I said, I'm just going to build a house and have a pool, and I won't have to fucking go nowhere.
Episode 300 at Eddie's pool.
Right.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of see the importance of Elite joining the Guam national team and what's going on with teaching younger players a particular system, putting them through a particular program to kind of keep that continuity without having to be like, no, you play like this. And it kind of makes sense with rugby on Guam. They never introduced league rugby because they only introduced union rugby because league rugby is super different, and you start teaching kids 2 different styles of
like difference in play, or like the
difference in play.
Game?
Yeah, different.
Game?
Yeah, they're 2 different games, like the way they play it, and union players would only play union. League players will only play league, and so I mean,
on the national level, does it go more union, or
it's purely union?
Oh, okay.
There's no league. There's no league play here on Guam.
Oh, okay.
And that's just the way that they've set it, right? And so everybody's kind of conformed to that. But unfortunately, and you'll hear in other podcasts where rugby players are on it, it's like the program hasn't had a chance to evolve, and it hasn't evolved since it's been introduced here on Guam. And I take that back. Sorry, national team players. They've had success, but utilizing the amount of youth players that play between the ages of 11 and 14, and then high school players, and then it's sort of just like cutting off, and then you have national players who also are going through the same struggles of, I have to pay my own way to do this.
Yep.
You know,
but how old is rugby on Guam? Like realistically, though, about 20 years old, maybe 25.
Mid 90s it first came.
I was about to say, it was about the time I graduated, because I knew some of the better rugby. You know, Peter Brigetta, Bob Malay,
the Claris brothers,
the Clarises. I mean,
rugby was only introduced in middle school when I was there.
Yeah, so
it
was 2005. My senior year is when they brought high school rugby, or rugby to high school for the very first time.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, though. It's you guys are still a new sport trying to carve your way through that.
Right.
In basketball, we've been around since the 70s, and we're still in the same position.
You guys should at least be getting GNOC support, right?
Yeah, you know, we...
Oh, that's a different story? So
No comment.
Okay. I mean, it only makes sense to me in my mind, just someone standing from the outside, right? And so, yeah, we don't have to go into it, but it just seems like more support. A lot of sports programs in different countries get more support from either their government or even their committees for sports.
I went to Fiji,
to develop it, right?
Yeah, I went to Fiji in 2013 or 14. I can't remember what it was, and I was hanging out with a guy named Ben from Tahiti. And we were just hanging out in our little, Fiji, right? So they're putting in this university dorm that's brand new, but it doesn't have any aircon because it's, Fiji. So you got a little fan, and they give you a mosquito net and everything, whatever. So they have this little common area that's got like picnic bench tables outside. Talking to Ben from Tahiti, and we start talking about how our programs are run, and he goes, "Oh yeah, the French government gives us $175,000 a year just for basketball." Wow. Damn. I said, "Fuck, we'd be lucky if we get $5,000 from anybody." This is $175,000 from the French government for them to just do these things with the basketball team, and that's, that's why those countries do well in those things. What I mean? It's when you have the resources like that to support it. I mean, we're fortunate now that EJ's in a position where he has those resources and has grown the men's team. The women's team, it's still a little bit of a challenge. You know what I mean? So, but it's sad that we have an organization that does have a little bit of expendable funds, in my opinion, that could be, directed in that direction.
Right.
But I don't know how much of it is, and that's
it. Kind of sets everybody back, right? Across the board for sports.
Yeah, it's a job. It's a job for the people that are there, and as long as it's small-minded thinking, Boo, at the end of it, because it's small. It's what is this going to do for me versus what is this going to do for everyone? Mm-hmm. And I think that's really what it comes down to. And
it kind of leaves all the other sports kind of trying to figure out how to make it through to the next year, and how to keep developing players to where that's why it's like really commendable to see the basketball program, like all these volunteers putting in time, whether you're a player, whether you're a coach, a physician, right, a doctor. And
well, let's put it this way: GFA is not part of the Olympic Committee.
Right.
Yeah, they pulled away.
Look how successful they've become.
Right. And they got the full backing of FIFA. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Granted, FIFA's undergoing a lot of scandal and what have you, even on Guam, but still, I mean, just look at that. So
kind of just shows you. Yeah, man. I think sports on Guam has the real potential to do great, and there's a lot of great athletes here on Guam. Mm-hmm. And there's just little bit of exposure that I've seen across the board, and we're leaving it up to the people who are committed to those sports to create the exposure, like Clutch Guam, right? Mm-hmm. To highlight these players' successes in high school. But I feel like there's still a point where a lot of players here on Guam, whatever sport you play, it goes high school and then kind of done.
Yeah.
You know?
Joining the rec leagues after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to be a star in high school, but there was no opportunity for me to grow, to live here on Guam and to grow as an athlete.
Yeah.
Right. And
for sure.
That's kind of unfortunate. And that's why I was asking about the talent drain, because, you see a lot of players who are getting signed to Division III, Division II, Division I schools in different sports. Mm-hmm. And then after that, they graduate and they're like, well, there's nothing else for me again.
Yeah.
Right? It's either you go pro or you can go play for your national team. But again, the national teams aren't being really supported in that respect, right?
We're not at that point yet. That's really what it comes down to. Financially, resourcefully, we're just not at that point yet.
Yeah.
So we're I don't know if it's going to be in our lifetime, but we're a long way coming from, our men playing against New Zealand is a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
It was nice to see the field house filled up with Guam pride and people celebrating, and that was fun to be a part of.
Yeah, I watched that game on YouTube, and it was cool to be able to watch it on YouTube and people having that pride in the comments, right?
Yep.
And that's where a lot of pride in a country comes from, right? Nationalism comes from sports. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
a lot of it comes from sports.
I'll tell you, just that whole nationalism thing, right? Like when we went to micro games in 2014, we were playing against Kolsherai, right? And the entire game, their fan base had these national chants. Just you could tell everyone's been in this scenario before as a crowd, and they know how to support their local their home team.
Yeah.
But for us on Guam, it's like it was kind of awkward, like being at the game in the sense of like just our fans not knowing how to like react to certain scenarios, right?
Read the paper.
Yeah,
That's not the paper before the game.
Like, just starting a wave. Like there was a section trying to start a wave. Everyone was going crazy. Don't get me wrong. They were there to support.
Right, they're singers, dude.
Yeah. But just having that whole nationalism behind sports, I think is something we still need to continue to build upon as a island, right?
Yeah, for me, it'll be a trickle-down effect, right? And people will take more pride in wanting to be here and wanting to take care of this place and wanting to represent this place. And still people are happy to represent Guam, but I feel like it'll be on a bigger level if they can feel the energy from the people who are, or feel the support of the people who are watching them represent care.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, sports on Guam, man. I agree with you. It's got a real long way to go, but it's not impossible for it to change in the short run.
No, it's not.
And actually become something. Just even if you're just putting, I've seen government throw $50K to something. Like, you really threw $50K to that?
Yeah.
Like, I would have thrown it to something else,
Yeah,
what do you do with
sure.
GVB? That's all it is, man. Someone in GVB got $50K.
Maybe that's a chance to go attack that money, that GVB money, right? It's like, well, you got no tourists, and we're your best bet.
yeah. Or sports tourism. I mean, it could be a big market out here.
Right? Is it?
Sports tourism.
And that's an actual thing, right?
Oh, yeah, dude. So when my dad was at the university, one of the reasons he retired is because he wanted to do this big sports complex at the university. He wanted to have, and of course, there's this, well, why do you want something this big? What the hell? We don't have enough, local population to support this. He goes, yeah, but other teams would come here to train for a week.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The Olympics are going to be in Japan this summer if they still were. Don't you think the United States would want to come and say, hey, we're going to stay in Guam, which is only a 4-hour flight away. We're going to spend 4 days there and train.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then after that,
I would have been fucking go.
Hell yeah.
But you do that with all that. You do that with the swimming team. You do that. You do that with all these other teams because now you have this complex where they can simply go to and then come and our nightlife may not be Waikiki or some of these other places, but hey, it has its fair share of fun.
Yeah.
And but yeah, man, and the reality is these guys are supposed to be training anyway right before the Olympics. The likelihood
From experience.
yeah.
Speaking from experience.
The likelihood they're like in USA or something is very, very minimal. But yeah, man, it's that was kind of the big grand vision is use Guam as a hub. Hey, fuck tourists, this and that, but use it as a sports hub. Use it as a place where people that want to go to Asia. It's the last fucking American soil before you get to Asia, and everybody else for that matter. So those teams that have to come, and it's not just the Olympics. Talk about just like, there's a water polo fucking tournament in fucking China. There's a rugby tournament in fucking Kazakhstan.
Right.
Come to Guam, train, break up your trip so you don't got to fly 20-some hours to get there.
Right.
Come fly 20 hours, stay for 3-4 days, and then go fly the 3 hours to Japan, and you feel a lot better.
Who would be responsible in facilitating that with bringing U.S. teams here to train?
Good question.
I don't think it would matter. I mean, I think it'd just be like, hey, I'm. Let's say the U.S. team
PowerPoint
wants to-
presentation, like, hey, look at this facility we got.
number one, who owns the facility? That's really what it comes down to. See, the university was a perfect match because it's the university.
Right.
They constantly train at universities throughout the United States and other places.
And not to have a state-of-the-art facility to train athletes. Right?
Yeah, as long as you got the basic necessities, man. It's got a bathroom, it's got a shower, and it's got a fucking court that's air-conditioned and meets the playing conditions that they're going to be playing in wherever they're going. That's, when you're 1 week or a week and a half out from competing, that's all you need is just that because you're not going to be doing all this stuff. A lot of it's just, you're starting to taper down now and get ready for competition. So a lot of it is just, injury prevention and just kind of, taking some of the competitiveness out of the practices. So, we're going to put them here and, give them a fucking vacation before they freaking go and compete.
Yeah.
But whoever the facility owners are, the university would be perfect. You call the president. You call
Just like how Leo Palace was for some of the baseball teams.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but that's just baseball. I mean, imagine how long those guys stay and how much money they pump into that economy, but that doesn't stay here because it goes with all the motherfucking Japanese. But you do it at the University of Guam where, hey, that's a government entity now, gets pumped back into our local community somehow, some way. Yeah, maybe paying sucking someone's salaries, but still, some of that money will come back. Hey, we can use that money to develop the facility even better or do other things for the local community and the regular field house. So. But yeah, I think sports tourism is I think it has a big opportunity out here. We just need someone with the balls and the property space to build something like that. But I really think you'll get a good, like I said, we're the last stop for American soil, man. And to be able to have that where they can break up a long trip to Asia, Russia, or all these other places where these guys are competing, I think it'd be a great opportunity.
Yeah.
So.
I agree.
But yay.
Matt, how long we been going?
An hour and 21 minutes.
Not bad, guys.
Hey, I like it. That was quick.
Oh, not bad. Yeah, man. Like we've been talking about, there's just so much room to grow, and why? And it's unfortunate the coronavirus has halted a lot of things, and it's going to change a lot of the way sports is played here on Guam and the way people support sports, and it almost feels like a whole 5 steps back from all the progress that's been made. Yeah I don't know, man, just the coronavirus just killing sports in general is just kind of sad. Yeah.
It's just kind of sad. It's just just not being able to have anything. You've I think you said it on a podcast. It's like, or someone said it that you had on a podcast. It was like having a typhoon without the typhoon kind of thing. And it lasted for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's a new normal. That's what it really comes down to. We can keep talking about it and this and that, mask, hand sanitizer, 6 feet. You can only have so many people here. I mean, it is what it is, man. You just got to roll with it.
How do you adapt? I guess on the national level, where does it go from here? Does it become a new normal? Does things actually change? Because
I think you got to have some safety guidelines and procedures in place just to somewhat minimize the spread per se.
I feel like the only thing that I see changing is actually hosting events here, right?
Well, even the way you would, like, for example, if you were to host a training camp right now, there's absolutely zero tolerance for contact, right? So you would just have to find more creative ways to keep these players training. But then again, man, just from a experience, you can't. It's real tough to get in a groove of a real game when all you're doing is bouncing a ball to the ground, right? Without somebody guarding you, without pad work, just cone drills. There's so many different variables in the game where you can't truly prepare for it. At least with this day and age, if I'm going to the train and all I'm doing is bouncing the ball, shooting the ball in the bucket, and as soon as I get to a game scenario, it's going to be completely foreign, right? Like that, just being in that situation. So it's going to be real interesting to see the level of play once we get back. Obviously, everyone's got to prepare for, my players are, a few steps behind, but I think that's for every sport in every country right now, right?
Yeah.
So, the level of playing field is pretty much even across the board, but I think it's just players just continuing to train and really staying engaged with the sport however they can.
Now it's all self-train, if anything,
definitely,
right?
yeah.
But I think a lot of it is self-regulating as well. I think we all, as a society, have to kind of take a step back and really look back and say, okay, what are some things that I can kind of not really do right now to kind of minimize my exposure and to minimize my ability to spread this with other people that I really do want to hate.
Yeah, I think the answer is just get tested as often as you can. And we're lucky that we can actually go get free testing.
Yeah.
Right?
Wait 4 hours, but you free.
Yeah, man. I actually waited 4 hours. I got there an hour before they started testing. I was like the 100th car in line. That was the Manila one.
Oh, you did Manila?
Oh, my God.
But do you
I
wait
did
in your
Sonia
car?
the week before, or the day before.
You wait in your car? Or
You wait in your car.
Oh,
yeah,
No, you
you
gotta
gotta,
So they test you from the car.
from the car.
Okay.
Yeah, they do have a walk-up.
Yeah, I saw the one in Istanbul. It's like everyone's lining up.
Yeah,
in
you
the
can
gym,
you can
right?
you can walk up too. And Manila had that too, but it's it was rough just to sit there. I think I crashed out like 3 times.
Yeah.
My girlfriend woke me up. She's like, "Hey, it's time to move." I'm like,
Well,
I'm exhausted.
I took the whole household, dude. I took my son and Ariana and Landon, and so So I had two 11-year-old girls and a freaking 17-year-old boy, dude. We're
In the
all
car.
there.
Yeah, and I feel like you do your cluster justice
Yeah.
by doing your due diligence.
For sure.
But yeah, the problem is I think out here the only way to get tested for free is to go line up in those places, and that's going to deter a lot of people from doing it. And unfortunately, these tests are somewhat expensive, from what I hear. So I don't know if we're able to, or anyone is able to, kind of buy tests and continuously do that. But even if you do that, like I said, it's at the end of the day, it comes down to self-regulating. What are some things that we can cut out that would, kind of minimize our exposure per se? Are there places that I don't need to go to anymore? Are there things I don't need to do anymore? Should I, one thing I loved about COVID is I started cooking all kinds of crazy shit. Fuck, well, you know what it stands, working for NAFAC at the time, and it's every now and then you got them late nights, and you were supposed to cook, but you ain't coming home till like 7 o'clock. So now it's like, well, okay, what do you guys want? I'm going home. 6:30.
Wendy's is on the way home.
I think every single person out here has picked up some kind of hobby.
Yeah.
Like during,
Yeah.
during COVID, I fucking started gardening, dude. Like I'm growing cucumbers.
That's why there's no goddamn
nice.
potting soil at Home Depot.
Yeah.
No fucking potting soil anyway, dude.
Oh my God, dude. So.
Well, I wish I was able to do that. I mean, I got my parents' house, but it's nothing about doing it at your own.
I can only
place.
imagine how you went through. You were teleworking too during that time?
Yeah, I was.
Fuck.
I was, and
I'm glad I only telework 3 days a week because, man, if I had to be home all day, every day.
but I did go into the office just to not lose that groove of being in the office.
Yeah.
You spend too long at home, you start getting lazy.
For sure.
You take the nap before you actually do work.
Yeah, we were lucky, man. It's sad. I was on the GSPN podcast with Al Garrido, and they're talking about how ESA Sports shut down, and I was like, man, I'm super lucky because we won from a high school coaching perspective. We won our championship on the last championship on a Saturday, and then come Sunday, the governor made the announcement that come Monday she's shutting down.
Yep.
So, but
Wait,
yeah.
so the ESA Sports Pro is the new
It's a public school program.
IIAAG? That was their separation, right?
Yeah.
What was the deal with that? How come? And do you think it's detrimental to sports between? It's on the left. Yeah. Do you think it's detrimental to sports like across the board and how kids interact with each other here on Guam?
I'm not sure it's that. I think so the whole reason why ESA split, at least what they're saying, is they just really wanted more control over everything sports. You know what I mean? You got to remember that prior to the IIAG being formed 21 years ago, whatever it is, DOE ran all sports. And we didn't have a lot of private schools or non-DOE public schools per se. And when the government ran into a financial crisis, that's when the IIAG said, well, I don't want my school to suffer. And, Harvest, Guam High, FD, St. John's, we're like Notre Dame. Hey, man, we can pay. We don't have to wait for the government to pay the officials. We don't have to wait for the government to pay the coaches. We can do that ourselves, kind of thing.
Right.
So that's how the IIAG was formed.
This was a nonprofit.
Yeah, it was a nonprofit
private schools.
Correct, and it's all their officers per se were private schools until about a year or two later, where the public school says, "Well, you already have a structure in place or a system in place. We'll just join you then, and we'll just pay you for that." So they sent their money to the IIAG, and the IIAG, however their accounting goes, would do whatever they needed to do, yada 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 yada. So that went on for as much as 20 years, and then now we're at this point where the public school says, hey, we want to go ahead and, do our own league, have more control over it. And I think
you guys are still welcome to join.
Correct. Yeah, but like football, rugby, wrestling,
yeah.
Those are the three main sports, because in the IIAG side, which is your private schools, you, for the most part, have 6 private schools and 6 public schools. But the IIAG side, you have Harvest, Guam High, St. Paul, FD, St. John's, and Notre Dame. How many of them have rugby teams?
Right.
How many of them have football teams? 1. How many of them have wrestling teams? 1, maybe 2. I mean, those are So now it's like, what are you gonna do? Play the same team fucking over and over and over and over and over. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go wrestle Buad again this weekend. Hey, Dad,
In the
guess
6
what?
weeks of that.
Dad, I'm moving up in weight. I'm gonna put on 4 pounds, and guess who I'm gonna wrestle? Who? Buad.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad, I'm gonna drop 10 pounds. Guess who I'm gonna wrestle? Who? Buad.
Boo
You know what I mean?
Boo dropped 10, so I got to drop 10.
We're in week 7 of the football league, and we're seeing them play for the 7th time.
Yeah.
Next
so,
week is the championship.
you know, so that's what Issa says. That's the reason why they did it. You know, whether or not it's true, I really don't know. I really don't care at this point. The bottom line is they're separated. It is what it is. We got to move forward. And the big thing this year, this school year, though, is the IIG just about a week and a half ago voted for a 3-season sports system versus the traditional 4-quarter sports system. So with the 3-season system, the whole premise behind that, which is what the states does and everything, is you have longer seasons for sports. So you somehow now take these multi-sport athletes and you say,
Choose one.
boo, you can't play volleyball and rugby. You got to choose, boo. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the whole premise behind that, and makes it somewhat easier to run and so on and so forth. So that puts a big, so now number one, you have the split of the 2 organizations. Number 2, you have it where one organization is 3-season and one organization is 4-quarter system. So now it's like, how do you align?
Yeah.
Now granted, you have your sports, rugby, football, wrestling, where they have to play in ISA. That's fine. But like for me, basketball is supposed to start November 30 and end probably around mid-February. ISA's saying we're going to push basketball to 4th quarter and start in March. So how the hell do I play those teams? So my thing now is, okay, I've already talked to my administration about this, is if I can, I'm just going to play in their league too then. But now what players am I going to lose to rugby, to football, to wrestling, to whatever other sport is going on during that same time that ISA has their sport kind of going on.
Yeah.
I think we're a small population that I didn't think it was necessary per se. But like I said, it's done. It's over with. I understand where ISA's at. And the big thing with ISA is they're everything stops with the superintendent. With the IIG, it's still 6 schools with 6 votes, which means you have to have a majority.
You got to have the quorum.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's, I think that's what ISA kind of wanted, was like, dude, we, let's govern ourselves here. Let's stop trying to get votes, per se. So for me personally, I just think because fucking IIG school's been kicking DOE schools' asses. And, DOE needs to find a way to reward some of their sports programs for being a little bit more competitive.
Yeah.
Basketball's been competitive, but, football, look, it's, FDGW. But, you look at some of the other sports now, now FD's winning volleyball, per se. St. Paul's has been winning basketball, boys and girls, for how long? So, maybe that has a little bit to do with it. How much of it, I don't know.
Yeah, man. I as soon as I saw that, I was like, that kind of sucks.
Too small, man.
Yeah. We're trying to run this like a million people, like a million person place.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is, boo. We, like anything else, man, you just got to move forward. It's like COVID. Fuck, what are we going to do? Just sit here and just fucking cry and bitch and moan about it? Fuck, let's move forward already.
Go on a podcast and talk about it.
That's fine, because the beer is cold, the company's good, and all things considered, you know what I'm saying?
You won 4 chips this year? So
I won,
Did you?
Yeah, I won 4 championships for a high school.
So, which?
We won the GSPN preseason tournament.
Okay.
We won the Kanto Plains Classic, the equivalent to Far East. We won the IIG championship, which is our own league. And then Guam basketball said, look, we want to crown a national champion between public and private schools. And unfortunately, the private schools beat out the public schools.
Yeah.
So we ended up winning that championship as well. But yeah, we swept all 4, man. We lost 2 games this year, and they were both in Japan in that Kanto Plains Classic.
So you are ready to retire?
It would have been great, but 1 year charity for Tom's. You know what I mean? I don't know how much Tom's had in your life, but homeboy over here
told me to use condoms.
Yeah.
That's what he said. I'll never forget that. I went into his office.
He passed it out.
Yeah. And he was like, "Do you have any of these?"
Yeah.
Like, I actually don't.
I got you, boo.
Yeah, I used to get a lot from him. But yeah, man. So but yeah, man. Tom's, big guy. Tom's actually working on a big project for him right now. So
yeah, what's your plans? I mean, it's going to be hard for you to do this for free forever, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, we just recently started monetizing, through sponsorships. We're selling merch now, so I mean, it's going good. My issue is I'm going deep in the hard drive right now, bro. Like pulling out new content, things that I filmed before that I've never just publicized yet. Yeah. So, I mean, we're getting more creative with what we want to do. Our next big project. We're still in the brainstorming process, but we want to go in depth in the life of Tom's, really his impact on not just FD. FD's, everyone knows the story of FD.
That was a small part.
But we want to go in depth of his impact on Guam basketball as a whole. I can say from firsthand that he's really changed the culture and the way that we look at the game out here. And his knowledge has been passed down generation through generation. I mean, just the knowledge he's given Eddie, who's given it to me. Now I'm giving it to kids, right? Mm-hmm. Mike Min's now training kids, right? And all that knowledge that, one way or another gets through from person to person is staying alive, and his spirit's staying alive. So, we're working on a new documentary on Tom's, just his life and his impact on the island. And really, I mean, Clutch is just all about storytelling, man. We just want to share these compelling stories within the sporting community on Guam.
Is it what you thought, or is it still the same as what you started, as the idea that you started with?
Oh,
and
not
how
at
much has
not
it
at
completely
all.
evolved?
Yeah, not at all. I mean, when we first started Clutch, it was really just a platform for athletes to share their content. So,
like you post it and we'll repost it, kind of.
Yeah,
deal?
like send us whatever you have and we'll post it on this platform. Yeah. And then it kind of turned into, hey, let's pick up a camera and film this game ourselves, right? And between myself and my brother, we really honed in on, we're still learning the technical aspect of capturing things on camera, right? But our editing and the way we edit in reference to pop culture here, hip hop culture, and basketball has always been the premise of Clutch. Right. We're slowly trying to get out to other sports. We dabble into rugby. We have some volleyball videos in there. We like to do a lot more of that. But
it requires a bigger team. You can't be everywhere,
for sure. Yeah, definitely. But the reason why we chose basketball here is just because of we understand the culture of the sport here. Right. The music, just the swag of it all, just other platforms out there that players are related to. So Clutch is slowly evolving. We're trying to get away from, not get away, but we're trying to add on other forms of content other than just mixtapes. Storytelling's huge for us.
Yeah, man. I feel like it'll be really beneficial for a lot of athletes in getting them to the next level.
Oh, for sure. Definitely.
And all someone has to do is look up their social media, right? Or look up Clutch Guam social media, and it's like, oh shit, this kid got a whole highlight tape.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of kids I've worked with several kids on creating highlight mixes for them, and them sending it off to college, and that's another thing with Guam athletes trying to get noticed is a lot of the marketing is done on their own, right? Personally reaching out to coaches, personally reaching out to ADs of certain schools, and really just communicating on a person-to-person basis. Yeah. Right, without having that scout in between to communicate on their behalf. Yeah, I think that's another challenge that we face. But having platforms like Clutch, I think, will kind of assist with that process.
Yeah, are people necessarily just trying to get to the U.S. market? Is there an interest in plugging players into the Asian market?
Oh, for sure. Well, with Guam in particular, I think one of the more favorable destinations other than the U.S. is the Philippines. Okay. Obviously, with a lot of born and raised Filipinos here, they'll be able to. Will Stinnett, perfect example, right? Went through 5 years of Philippine basketball. Unfortunately, didn't get into the PBA, which is the Philippine Basketball Association. Right. Only because he would have had to change his residency. And his U.S. passport would have been revoked, right? So,
oh no way, that far?
Yeah, like he would have had to full on go Filipino, right, in order for that to happen. So,
yeah, and he's not even a lick of Filipino.
Yeah, no, and I mean that's one of the criteria to.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, to be in the PBA. So on a 12-man roster in the PBA.
So a lot of even these black dudes who play in the PBA. Yep. They.
So here's where it kind of.
And white dudes.
And white dudes. As long as you're 6'9", right. You qualify. Right. But so to go back, for example, the PBA, they only allow two non-nationalized players per roster. So, I mean, they usually reserve that for the 6'8", 6'9" center that's dunking all over everybody, right?
Yeah.
So Will, being a point guard, he just couldn't make that cut, right? So it was either go all in or come back home. So for him, he made the decision to come back.
I didn't know that was the reason why. That's
Yeah. I mean, it gets technical like that. I have a good friend that was born and raised in Saipan who also played on our national team, Jericho Cruz. But he was able to take that route of growing up in Saipan, went to Adamson University in the Philippines, played 5 years, entered the draft, and was the 7th, 8th overall pick, I believe. But he's half Filipino, so he was able to just naturally go into that process without being one of those guys that are not naturalized, right? So
yeah. Is that the same all around that you know? I mean, because there's a Guam boy who plays for Japanese pro team, right?
That's another story. So, I mean, same scenario. I don't know exactly what the rules are in Japan, but he's half Japanese.
Oh.
Yeah, so, I mean, he speaks full-on Japanese. You're talking about Morgan?
Aiken, right. Yeah, I was asking him,
Oh, no, I heard everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And Will playing in New Zealand was kind of a special case because just like the PBA, the NBL also, they only allow 2 outside players per team, but Guam falls under that Oceania region, so you're naturally you're considered a natural player playing on that roster.
Yeah,
so
interesting.
that's why
Yeah,
him and Joe were.
There's a professional league that's starting in Hawaii for rugby, and they're trying to make at least 25% of the people who are natural.
US
naturalized Hawaiians.
Oh wow!
Right, and then everyone else is going to be the same thing. But even like for FIFA, right? I mean, I'm kind of wonder for the Guam national team, like that's like almost a completely foreign team. It feels like, right?
Yeah,
The men's team?
Yeah.
You're talking about soccer.
Yeah, soccer.
I have no clue. I mean, they don't even publicize the relation to Guam, right?
Right.
With the national team. I know for basketball, at least.
See Instagram post.
Yeah, I know, right?
Nah.
But with basketball, at least it's 4-year residency.
Mm-hmm.
You had to have been born here, or one of your parents or grandparents had to have been born here. So everyone on that team's got some sort of route coming back to Guam.
Yeah, FIBA is you have to be born on Guam, one parent, both grandparents, or 4 years consecutive residency. So, and all those players,
Every single one of them.
they have ties. McKelly was at FD when I was at FD. He was my classmate.
Who?
McKelly Wesley.
Okay.
And
Okay. The
ironic-
Wesley brothers, right?
Yeah.
right,
okay,
so
okay.
ironically, he was the one that kind of helped EJ grow Guam basketball, because when EJ reached out to McKelly, because we knew him from high school, McKelly goes, "Oh, by the way, I have a younger brother named this. I have a younger brother named that."
Yeah, and the younger brother plays in
Just
right? He just
retired.
retired.
Yeah.
He just retired. He was in New Zealand and Australia. But then the other brother, Russ, he's actually a referee. So yeah, he's trying to get into like Division I games and the states and stuff, dude. Division I games in the states, they make like $8,000, $10,000 a game
Right.
to referee a basketball game. Granted, you're doing it in front of 29,000 people, but still,
Right.
still. So, but yeah,
Yeah, Ty, I think he went to Agata
Mhm.
when he was younger, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. The one that just retired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that's where I believe that like soccer may have taken out the nationalism, of appreciating the players who are playing
yeah. But
soccer.
FIFA's
It's
such a
like-
profitable fucking organization. I mean,
Yeah.
you've seen how many scandals they've had, and they still haven't been.
They're still
it's
still
a
top.
It's still worth $1 billion.
$1 billion fucking industry, dude. People are embezzling it, and it's still not a drop in the bucket. That's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? So
Doing better than Pablo Escobar himself.
For real, man.
there's less. There's just a little.
Pablo probably invested in FIFA, you know what I mean? Damn, dude.
They fucked through that 2 Escobar. You ever watch them 30 for 30?
That's a dope ass documentary.
That was one of the better ones they had.
for reals.
You ever watch that 30 for 30? The 2 Escobars.
No.
Boo, you gotta watch that one.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Is
story.
it the one where he funded the team and they would like play on his field?
Yeah.
Well, that's when he went to jail.
And then he killed one of them, or
That's yeah.
Okay, never mind.
What-
I might have been.
So pretty
talking
much
about
when Pablo
someone else.
died, there was a big struggle for power, and they ended up killing the other Escobar. It's just a crazy
Oh,
backstory,
okay,
man.
okay.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, it just talks about drug lords funding soccer teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they gotta find a way to legitimize their money.
Right.
And how the fuck you walk into a bank? I got 17 million in drug deals. Can you just want to make this a EFT? You know, it's not happening. But hey, you own a soccer team. It's easier to collect because you collect cash
and wash it.
Tickets. So
Yeah.
there's only 1,000 people at the stadium, but your ticket sales say there's 150,000.
Sounds like we need a drug kingpin here.
Yeah.
And their competitiveness on the streets also went onto the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
That's a good documentary, man. Check it out when you get a chance. By the way, dude, now we're talking about COVID and stuff, dude. I was talking to Matt about this the other day. Did he ever talk to you about that thing, Home Game? You ever watch Home Game on Netflix?
No.
You ever watch Home Game?
it's a movie, like actual movie.
No, it's a mini series. It's a docu-series, and it talks about these not weird, but this kind of, I guess, sports that take place in certain regions. So the first episode is Calico or something Calico, and it's in Italy, and there's 4 different teams, and it's a combination. It's like 28 on 28, and it's a combination fucking MMA and rugby.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of that. I've actually seen a separate documentary on that.
Yeah, so it's like 25 minutes, 29 minutes. I like anything that's under 30 minutes because I don't fall asleep. But yeah, dude. So I'm fucking watching that. I was like, dude, this is fucking.
Is it like Last Man Standing or how?
No, so basically they got like 17 guys that are just straight up MMA, dude.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna fucking fight you. And I guess the rule is like it's me and Boo. If I fucking hit Boo and Boo goes to the ground and I'm on top of him, then he has to keep still. And if he doesn't keep still, I can keep fucking. So while 17 of us are doing that, the other guys are trying to fucking get this ball and throw it into this like long. It's like a soccer goal, but it's like on the first set of bleachers, like on the high side, and it's this long tube. You just got to throw it there.
It requires some level of accuracy throwing the ball through it.
Yes. So yeah.
While getting punched in the face.
That's one of them. There's another one that's I forget. It's in I can't even pronounce the fucking country. It's in near one of the stands.
Yeah.
But they play like polo. The British game or whatever it is, the fancy game, polo and stuff.
Yeah.
But they use a dead goat. They use a dead goat as the fucking ball.
It's called Home Game.
Home Game. Netflix. Check it out.
I'm gonna have to watch it. It reminds me of this Japanese game where there's like one guy sitting on a fucking on a stick or like thing, and it has all his friends like guarding, and then it just has a whole cluster of people just trying to jump on top of the dudes. Try to bring.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So that I don't know if that was on it, but yeah, I know you're talking. Like some dude's on the post.
Yeah, he's on a post. I said,
and then they're all fucking. Yeah.
He's on a post. A post.
So the whole docuseries is just based around
Matt,
awkward ass.
Can we take a look at one of those?
The Scotland fucking check it out, dude. Home Game, Netflix.
Yeah, it's called Calico.
Yeah, it's the first episode. Just pull it up. But Calico, whatever. Yeah. But so it's funny, dude. So
just YouTube it.
Back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, there was this Korean game show that came to Guam. No joke, dude. Korean game show came to Guam, and it was like one of those like I don't know, Eat Bulaga in Tagalog or something, where it's just one of those stupid TV shows where they make him do stupid shit. Apparently, he got a big fucking Korean following, so they booked the field house, the University of Guam field house, bro. And they sold that motherfucking place out for this shit, right? So they say, hey, we need some local talent to fucking just compete in some of the games against some of their people. I'm like, all right. So the game they had us competing in was like this fucking like, you had to run and like kind of like what's that gymnastics where you hit the pommel horse and stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh,
you hit the pommel. Yeah. So something like that, but it's like you just got to clear the box in front of you. So you got to hit this fucking spring and then just clear the box in front of you. And whoever their fucking Korean champion was no match for me and my friend Lloyd Legute, because we fucking went biometrics, dude, and we blew them away. And the crowd was getting angry, bro. This is fucking like 4,000 people, dude. The crowd's getting fucking angry, dude. But yeah.
Don't play the trailer. Play the actual sport.
The first episode, dog.
Calico, just I guess just YouTube Calico.
But yeah, just good stuff.
How long did that last here?
What do you mean?
The game show.
Dude, they came one time.
Just one weekend?
One time, dude. One time, one show.
How did you get a part of it?
My dad was the field house manager. You want to be part of a Korean game show? I was like, fuck Korean game show? Sure. 20 years old. What else I got to fucking fucking go there. And, dude, no joke, dude. Dude, it was the funniest fucking thing. I was just like, and it was crazy because it reminded me of like Rocky 4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The crowd is like pro Drago. And then you start doing well. And then all of a sudden the crowd starts to get like pro Rocky.
Yeah.
So that was like me because I was a small guy, bro. But, you know, I was pretty agile back in those days. And fuck, here I am clearing dude,
Hometown
I was a
favorite.
fucking dude. I was walking out. I got like at least fucking 50 pictures taken, bro. 50 pictures, signing autographs. I'm like, I just want a beer. This shit was hard. That's a lot of sprinting, dude, because you had to keep going, keep going and stuff. But yeah, dude, it was funny.
Full blown production.
Full blown, dude. Full blown, dude. They had fucking cameras everywhere. They had at least 20 cameras in the fucking fit offs, dude. It was the fucking craziest thing. Like, yeah. So.
Why isn't the field house used for more things?
Well, in the words of a wise man, well, it's not a wise man, it's by now. Doug Palmer.
Oh my God, Doug Palmer.
Yeah, he's the field house manager now.
Okay.
And he's not
the AD, right? He's the AD.
No, AD, field house, whatever the hell you want to call him, but he's not very community oriented. You know what I mean?
Not allowing other people to utilize the gym in the way that it could be.
No offense, but you got a white president with a white field house manager that, and I'm not trying to be racial or stereotypical prejudice here, but you have two people that know absolutely nothing about our community.
Right.
At all, period.
Right.
So, it's hard when you cannot, get local support, especially in times like this, right? We have all these events and things that are supposed to be going on, but yeah, it's so difficult. You know what I mean? And I think we're at the point now where we need a bigger facility too. Shit. When the PXCs used to be freaking hot, it was hard to put people up in there. I think Guam is ready now for like a 10, 12,000 facility.
What's the capacity there? Like
5
grand. For a basketball
sorry,
game?
I think I spoke at the same time you said the number. So
yeah.
Did you say 8?
No. So the University of Guam Fieldhouse, I think you can fit just under 4,000 people in there for a basketball game.
Okay.
That's a basketball game. Now, if you do a concert or something like that,
Opening up the floor,
you might be able to do like 4,500 at most.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know it's less than $5,000, but still, here on Guam, fuck, I think you can get 6, 7, 8 grand people.
Sure.
Music. You get a freaking nice act out here, they'll come out if you can get 8, 9,
4,000 people.
But 4,000 people, you can get that if you get a big act on Guam. It's you can get more if you can, get a bigger facility, indoor facility.
Where would you put it?
That's going back to the sports complex. The University of Guam has a lot of land, so if they are willing to use their land to help build this facility, they'd be the ideal choice to do it. They're Gov Guam, but not really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that for me personally, I think that'd be the easiest way to kind of do that.
It makes the most sense, and they still have the most land. Do you find it?
Yeah, that first one right there, Maddie. Yeah, that one, bro. Click that shit.
That's a Vice Sports.
I don't know, dude. What the hell it is? We're connecting Guam. But yeah, dude, this show's crazy, man. Yeah.
This whole shoulder injury's got me all messed up.
It's on.
Can't do the things I used to. Let's see it. Just skip to the middle as much as you can. Get to the game.
Get to the action.
Dude, I feel like I've seen this before. Are they like in a mud
There you
pit?
go. There you go.
No, they're like in not really a mud pit. They're like.
Well, they're not wearing any shirt. What the heck? And they're throwing a soccer ball like a rugby ball.
Some dude's training for rugby. Some dude's training for MMA.
Bro.
That's training camp for you.
Huh.
Bro, dude.
Is there sound? Can you turn on the sound? You might have to unplug something in the back. Oh, here we go.
Final. Here's the final, dude. The final. Yeah, I thought you ruggers, dude, were pretty tough guys, bro. But these guys fucking take the cake, dude.
I'd like to clarify. I was only a rugger up till 2010. Then I took my talents to music.
dude.
But yeah, dude, this thing is
Wow, dude,
bro.
it's popular.
Bro, this shit's wicked. They only play once a year, and it's 4 teams, and these guys get paid shit. Check it out, dude. Here we go.
It's okay, Matt. You don't have to.
Yeah, here we go. Let's fucking.
So basically, these guys are just falling on each other.
Yeah, basically. So it's like fucking, dude. They're fucking.
It's almost like that old game. I want to say it, but I don't want to say it. You know, due to but it rhymes with smear the rear.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
Yeah, but this one, that you don't have to have the ball to kind of, you know, like this is.
to separate a shoulder.
Check it out. So as long as you're on the bottom and you're not fighting anymore, everything's good.
Is
So
it timed or is it like game point?
No, there's like I guess it goes time.
Oh, you have Sweden there, so it's a European thing.
No, I thought it was only Italy.
Oh, it's only Italy.
Yeah, it's only Italy.
Oh my god, dude.
Oh,
Check that
Ooh.
shit out. Yeah, he's down. He's down. You're good.
His ankle hurts.
Oh fuck.
Ooh.
He's in a headlock.
Yeah, dude. Try playing this, boo. Get your boys together.
Oh man.
I'll be the ref, bro. Check him out. Even the guy in the green shirt. I'll even wear a green shirt like that. Fuck I am harder. Hurry up. Come on.
Feel like we
Yeah.
could host something like this at the last
The-
night of
yeah.
Fuck.
This is close to jousting.
Yeah, just add on top of jousting, dude.
No waiver can protect us from this. Look at this shit. This fucking guy kicking with cleats and everything. Like, damn. Yeah, so they got like one dude here that's done this shit for like 18, 19 years in a row. Dude. I'm like, fuck, bro. I'll do it one time and I'm done.
It's just one of those barbaric sports that never left
Yeah.
that culture, huh?
Yeah.
I guess, dude. It's interesting, man. So, thanks, Matt. Appreciate that, brother.
Yeah. I know it took you a while to probably spell Calico because I still don't know how to spell Calico.
Calcio. I don't know.
Calcio.
Yeah.
Oh, no wonder why.
I have kids. I have to put everything on low volume and read the captions. So.
AirPods, man.
Yeah, no. Not when you're watching on the big TV like that. Damn AirPods, dude. Fuck that.
Yeah, let's circle back to the alumni tournament. I want to know what's going to happen. You know, like, are we guaranteed something to...
Nothing in life's a guarantee. The goal is to start something August 1, July 31st, August 1.
to have some sort of structure of people playing?
The structure is already there. I think as far as gameplay, I think I already have it ironed out. Talking with some of our officers and stuff, it's, we have 4 pool play games and a single elimination playoff. Now we're going to only have 3 pool play games and then go to the single elimination playoff. What we're going to do is only on certain days, we're only going to schedule certain teams. So that way on that day, it's only those specific teams that will be there. And then the unfortunate thing is probably the next time you play is probably the same guys you're going to see the next time you play as well.
Right.
That way we're minimizing the amount of contact. So, historically what I normally had done with the schedule is I'd always mix kind of teams so that way it allows you to kind of network with all kinds of different people. You don't, you see the same guys, but for the most part you're still seeing other
There's
guys
the
from other classes.
marquee games, right?
Yeah, well, you guys 05 to 09. So anywhere between 03 to 2011, 2012 will probably be the guys that you see on a daily basis before you or after you.
Yeah.
Because, those are the guys that, for the most part, you would want to kind of see and hang out with because you went to high school with them,
Right.
just catching up, you have that connection already, but then after that, it's always, I want to expose you, and make him play my class plays and say, hey, fuck Dom, dude, this is so-and-so and so-and-so. You'd be surprised what happened. But anyway, so yeah, you'd only play on, whatever those days are, and you'd probably see just Dominic on those days.
Yeah, Dom, I didn't even realize you graduated in 09.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought you were 2011 for some reason.
Oh,
Dre
I don't
Thompson.
even know.
Dre.
They could use it. In 2011.
That's Dre.
Definitely
Yeah.
use them.
I probably averaged 50
Yeah,
with that class.
For some reason.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even Mike thought you were even older than that.
Oh, man.
He thought you were 06
Oh,
or
shit.
07.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, not
Definitely not
Yeah,
06.
don't listen to the next episode. I mean, the episode I'm about to drop.
Thanks, Mike.
A question about the alumni tournament: coolers and beer.
Oh, so obviously we get a lot of support from people giving us beverages and stuff, but we're probably going to have to do away with kegs now, and which kind of sucks because it's kegs are abundant right now.
Right.
Which would be easy, but yeah, we'd probably have to deal with it and just minimize the amount of contact. So, you know, we won't be serving, you know, the host class won't be having to barbecue leg quarters every year.
Yeah.
If classes want to host the barbecue, then they're only pretty much doing it for themselves. They would have to kind of set up and do it for themselves.
Sure.
Now, if people walk to the
that
back,
sucks, man. Honestly,
man.
that
and
sucks. It takes away from the spirit of
it does,
you know?
but it also, you know, it's going to be alumni only.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now you're reducing our crowd. You know, we used to have to charge an entrance fee. Now we're not going to do it because it's, you know, we don't want anyone that's not alumni coming. It's you know, we have to treat it more like a pickup game.
Right.
And, you know, show up, play your game, and, you know,
If you want to cook, you can.
encourage everyone to go home after that.
Right.
You know, and whether or not they do that, that's out of our control. So it takes a little bit of it away, but at the end of the day, it just keeps it going. So
Yeah.
that's the goal. We hope to have it then, and if we don't, then we're going to shoot for sometime after October
Yeah.
and see what happens then. But I've given the drop dead as January 31, I think it was. I forget what date it was. Where if we can't hold it by that date, then it's done, and we go to the next year. We start focusing on 2021 and seeing what we can do with that tournament. So,
Right.
talk to 2010. We're in good contact. They understand what's going on. You know, obviously they don't. You know, they were eager to kind of shut everybody up about, you know, the fact that, you know,
The
some of
doubts.
the doubts and their mishaps over the past few years. So they were very eager to kind of
the cake.
right.
Yeah.
The
stolen cake.
they were kind of eager to put a lot of that to rest. It's unfortunate that it is what it is now. You know, I'm pretty sure there.
No closure.
Yeah.
We need closure, 2010. We need closure.
Status quo, I guess. You know, however you want to look at it. You know, it is what it is, man. We go on. But yeah, man. So we're shooting for, you know, hopefully July 31, August 1st start, and we're looking at running it probably 2 weeks, alumni only, no beverages as far as, you know, kegs, no food from the host class, which kind of takes away from a lot of things, but. If 05 or 09 decide they want to host, then, you know, that's up to them. But you can't serve food in the gym. Now, if they walk out to the back kitchen and get it, I can't stop them. But, you know, outside of that, that's kind of what it goes to. So
Yeah.
that's the goal. That's what we're hoping to shoot for. We'll see if it happens or not. It's, like I said, it's very aggressive. There's nothing organized that the government has allowed.
Right.
So
Sure.
now, if I wanted to be a real rebel, I'm pretty sure I could arrange for an unorganized alumni tournament.
Right. I was just gonna
Find
say
a loophole in there.
Because the
To make
individuals that
this-
I spoke to in the government, I told them, you're going to make this unorganized. It's not going to be difficult for me to do that. I mean, you know,
It'll just be crazy.
yeah, it's going to you're going to have a referee there. I said, what if the referee's not wearing a referee shirt?
Yeah.
How are you going to know it's a referee? Just because he has a whistle?
Yeah.
Fucking, it's a black guy. Shit.
He's going to have a beer in his hand.
Yeah.
Fucking black. I don't know. Maybe he's just making sure people don't fight in open play.
Right.
You know what I mean? Well, you guys are keeping score. I said, how do you know we're keeping score? How do you know they're just doing that as a fucking public service? Everybody else, like, hey, what's the score? Fuck you guys. I'm gonna go and just do that then. But yeah, so well, we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah.
Hopefully-
The biggest thing burning on my mind is will people who haven't graduated from FD but has played FD sports will ever be able to play in the alumni tournament.
That's been an ongoing issue, right?
Yeah, I think.
And
it's a valid
there's
argument.
only one person that comes to mind because I went to school. I was in school at FD while it was happening was Sevi, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, is that something that will ever be considered, right? And does it ever pose an unfair advantage for any reason? You know, and
Well, number one, 2003 is not competitive. That would be the class that he would play with.
yeah,
But you know, for me, it's I don't really care either way. I believe that someone who has actually worn our school colors and competed for our school under that banner per se, I think they're more worthy than someone who's never set foot in school at all. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
you know, these guys that are like, you know, trying to strive for another kind of status or another kind of eligibility, I think someone who's played sports for the school have a little bit more argument than those guys that have never even set foot in it and haven't done shit.
right.
Yeah.
And more of an argument for people who have went to school but never played, like donned the school colors to represent the school outside. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we finally put to rest the whole eligibility issue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was interesting. It was a hard battle. It was an uphill battle, but I'm glad we finally put it to rest. I mean, granted, there's 3 different criteria we operate with, but hey, man, it is what it is. It was interesting to see the kind of how each class spoke. Looking at the votes. I mean, it was secret ballot, but I'm privy to seeing it, and it was interesting to see a lot of how the classes voted on it, and so. But we'll see what happens, man. Hopefully we can do it this summer. That's the way I look at it, dog.
Yeah. There's always a chance and opportunity.
There's always a chance and opportunity. There's always a chance and opportunity for those guys that have donned those colors to play at some point. But that's an uphill battle we're going to be facing.
Yeah. I was telling Sevi, I was like, man, you should just make it like a mockumentary of you training every year for the alumni tournament, but never getting to play.
Just sitting on the bench, slush.
Yeah.
Just slush right there.
It's like every year I train for this moment.
Yeah.
And then it's just him behind the bench. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like, I think I might do it.
Sevi would do some shit like that though, for reals.
He wouldn't last that long. He'll do it for like a minute, and he'll be like tired. So
yeah, man. I mean, like you guys said, I feel like they do deserve it. But who is it up to ultimately? Is it up to the alumni or the board?
I mean, it can be up to the Alumni Association. I mean, there's 3 entities, right? The endowment, which really is just your kind of financial aspect of the school. Just, you don't want to give your money directly to the school, give it to the endowment. They'll grow it. They'll find a way to invest it back somehow, some way. So really the 2 decision-making parties are the administration and the Alumni Association. And for the Alumni Association, it's really not a discussion I want to escalate at this point.
Huh.
We just got done, talking about 1 year, 2 year, 4 year, graduate, non-graduate, and all this shit. I really don't have the energy nor the patience to deal with. Okay, how about guys that actually play for the school?
Yeah.
Well, number one, what have you done? Hey, fuck, Sevi, I love you, but what have you done for our school?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Other than show up and never pay your entrance fee. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, we can at least give them that.
Yeah.
Bring him in the back.
Yeah.
So,
come through the back.
Yeah, come
Yeah.
through the back.
You have to pay the $20.
Yeah.
So the whole banding thing, I'm telling you, the banding thing changed the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was my year that started.
Yep, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You guys did it, but
remember.
then they didn't do it the next year after that. 07 didn't really do it.
Our class really enforced it.
Yeah, these guys did. These guys did a great job of it. And honestly, the banding thing was great because it minimized the crowd. It got rid of a lot of that kind of free loafing kind of thing. So
Right.
that was the nice thing about it. So yeah,
And you have to eventually, right?
Well,
Especially when it's that.
I mean,
at
it's
that
gotten
scale.
so much. Every year it grows, man. I mean, you have to regulate somehow.
how many kegs you guys go through last year? You guys did 120.
And I can't honestly. I don't remember.
Yeah,
It was definitely above the 110 mark.
yeah.
I know
the fact-
Ours was,
07
ours was
over-
above 130. I know for sure.
How many cases inside a keg?
7.
7 cases in a keg. So 7 times 24. Let's see.
156. 154.
7 times 24, 168
See, I was close.
times 130. That's 21,840 beers.
I
Sounds
believe
about
it.
right. Yeah.
Opening night and the last night are the 2 big nights. So, but yeah, those are the big nights. Those are nights that attract crowds. The weekends you don't feel it as much because you don't see it throughout the day.
Yeah.
So I've hosted throughout a whole day for the last 10 plus years, and
You guys had the best host day. For,
yeah, they were.
yeah.
But
Guys
that's
had that.
like, I
And-
told
Well, you guys have guys who are down to like cook and
Yeah.
put out,
Yeah.
you know?
yeah, but you need that asshole.
Yeah. Yeah. You need that asshole.
You guys have that too.
I tell my class every year, I say, I can get every one of these other motherfucking classes to fucking bow down and just fall in line. But you motherfuckers, man, I can't even get $20 out of you fucking.
Hey,
You know what
man,
I'm saying?
my class ends up catering from Ben and Yan's, you
Yeah.
know? It's like, man, where's the fun in that?
Actually,
Yeah,
a lot of
I
our
agree.
food came from Ben.
I love Ben and Yan's food. Thank
Stevie
you, Neil,
Gatewood, dude,
for
that
making
guy.
it happen. But I would love to sit out there and fucking cook, rather
you
than
know.
dish out stuff.
From
But our class doesn't have that.
asshole.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm an
Sums it
asshole.
all up.
Say, no, motherfuckers, we're gonna cook,
Yeah.
no matter what you say.
And we're staying till 4 a.m. and we're cleaning the shit up.
But I did notice because everything's cooked when it comes for our class on the night that we host, that we get drunker even quicker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. it's like, oh, we have so much time to.
But that's the fun about
Drink.
preparation, man. You can kind of like, eat along the way.
Yeah.
If you're just drinking, dude, I
Yeah.
don't give a fuck how
Yeah,
young
and
or
that's
whatever you
and
are.
I think that's why I really enjoyed it when our host year, because I had the opportunity to help every single class that was cooking. Whether I was barbecuing, I barbecued every single day, and dished out food every single day, and tried every single dish every single day for everyone. And I think that's what this class is gonna lose out on, by not hosting, is having that opportunity to be like,
maybe. So
If let's say we get to January 31st, we don't have a tournament, are they merging with 2011? How does that scenario play out?
That's kind of the encouragement behind that. It's like, hey man, you guys haven't done it, so help out 2011.
Yeah.
Help out Big Dog Dre.
or just have 2 tournaments.
I think that would be a perfect match, though. Those two classes need help, and I think
I don't know.
them merging-
2011, man, they actually came together this year tournament.
Yeah, they actually did.
They
You're
came out in
right.
numbers and everything, and so 2010, 2011. That's the funny thing. So 2010, obviously, we know what happened. It wasn't just the keg stealing. There was a couple other things involved in there too. 2011 was okay. Let's be real here. All right, we're running a basketball tournament. I'm the basketball guy. I'm the one running the tournament. If you're going to forfeit a game in the alumni tournament, don't you think that it would not want to be against my class? You know what I mean? So they forfeited one game earlier. And I talked to Dre and Eric and a couple other guys in their class. And I said, are you guys going to have 5 guys for my game? Because if not, I'm not going to waste paying the fucking, $50, $60 for the referee that day. Like, we could save that, reschedule it. Find a way to plug a game in there if we had to, or just tell the refs, hey, there's no game, so I don't got to pay them. The motherfucking guys don't show up. So I ended up kicking them out of the fucking league, right? And I'm like, it's okay, kick you out. He goes, what about entrance fee? I said, well, fuck, you don't read the bylaws? It says fucking non-refundable. Well, we never paid it yet. I said, well, did you also read the other line that says you will not enter until all debts are paid? You can pay it now, you can pay it later. Don't matter. Either way, I need your fucking entrance fee.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I kicked. They were the first class that I actually physically kicked out of the tournament. You know what I mean? 2010, I kicked out, but they were pretty much out already. 2011 was like they were still in, but I kicked them out. So it'll be interesting to see those two classes work together to host a tournament next summer.
They share a common bond.
Yeah, but 2011 actually they came together this year. They had and 2011 kind of reminds me of 07. You know what I mean? They have all these guys that just
Don't play
want to
basketball.
be there and help, but don't play basketball for shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, we don't have to play. We just got to show up and just drink beer and hang out.
I think that's like Matt's class.
Yeah. Well, 2015.
I think Matt, they have 1 basketball player.
2015?
2015. Not Troy Corpus. Your best basketball player went back to Guam High.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, no, your best basketball player is not even here. No, that was 14. No, yeah, you guys, Tristan Jose is your class, Matty.
Right.
Yeah, their best basketball player, Irvin's younger brother, he's not even
Yeah.
here. So,
I just remember their games being really bad against us because we were really bad. All defense from
hey, dude,
like 6 of us.
Dude, Tony, when we played you guys, Tony busted my lips so bad on a screen. I was like, dang, Tony. Ran into a brick wall there.
No, the Ultimate Tournament's great because them scouting reports. Right?
Yeah, the best thing about that year, the last couple years, was the scouting reports.
Scouting reports were champion, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude.
And where you find the time to develop those
Dude,
is amazing.
Because they were sent
No.
before lunch. They were sent before lunch. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh,
That is,
that's how
I'm
I'm
sitting
starting
on-
my day.
Yeah.
I'm sitting on the toilet and I got something to do. Let's go. Let's see what's happening here. Who's playing? Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
How many years you got in you?
4.
just doing the whole alumni stuff and I mean, you said you're pretty much done with basketball, at least coaching. And...
Yeah, national team, I'm done. I was done last year when I changed jobs. Went up to Anderson, got a little busy up there, and a lot of issues and just kind of different challenges per se.
Yeah.
And then high school basketball after next year, 2021, I'll be done. And alumni association, I say maybe the year after that, 2022, I'll be done completely. And then,
is there an heir to the throne?
No, I don't think so. For me,
ready
it's,
to take on the. I mean, it's a large shoe to fill, right?
Yeah, but I think if you build the model, especially within the alumni association, if you build the model and you just have people just kind of follow the model, it should be pretty simple to follow.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll always be there as a resource, but at the end of the day, I mean, the tournament, basketball tournament can run itself, softball tournament can run itself. You know what I mean? We want to do kind of some other sports. We want to still keep our partnerships with the administration, and the endowment. But for me, it's just establishing the models and solidifying the models per se. That way, when someone wants to do the softball league, it's pretty simple. We know who our sponsors are. We know who our scorekeeper is.
It's all associative.
Yeah, so it's real simple. You just make a couple phone calls, and I literally wrote a book for this practically of how to do it and timelines and stuff. I gave it to a couple people when I stepped away a couple years ago. So, just a simple checklist that you just go through, and it'll run itself. So, but yeah, a couple more years doing it, and I'm done. Just want to show up, drink beer, laugh at people. It's always fun. Scouting reports are fun. I think what makes it easy.
I think after the first year you completely retire, you're still gonna have the nick of being like, hey, coming in.
Everyone will start that fear. Shit, Eddie's
like,
here. Okay.
Wait, Eddie, you're not in part of this no more.
I can't wait for that shotgun though. It's gonna be packed in there.
Oh yeah, dude. Fuck, that's gonna be rough. Shotguns are harder. You get older, the shotguns get harder. It gets harder to swallow. Even just the hangovers in general, man. They get harder to swallow, dude. It's tough. The little bit tournament's bad is, especially when you host, because you drink so much that you don't feel like the beer is fucking doing anything to you anymore. You know what I mean? You just, me, I show up like, there's 19 days, I'm there at least 17. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, this thing's just not doing anything anymore. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know if that's good or bad. So, you say you're gonna detox, then like 2 days later you're at the bar.
You're there again, yeah.
So, but yeah, good stuff, man.
Yeah, thank you guys, Matt. How long we go here?
2 hours and 17 minutes.
Holy shit.
Okay, guys, my stomach is grumbling, and I feel like we'll get through this COVID stuff and at least get back to normal, at least until there's a vaccine, right?
Yeah.
I hope so. And as far as like with Guam basketball and just Guam sports in general, there's definitely things that need to change at certain levels to allow progress. And there's reasons why you haven't seen certain sports being able to progress, because it's maybe certain organizations, certain people, whatever it may be, things eventually will have to change. And hopefully they do sooner than later, before Eddie retires and just stops giving a shit, But I think you'll always give a shit no matter what, right?
Yeah, I will. But, we got young guys like Dom and Clutch Guam to, put it out there for people to continue to see. So.
Yeah, that content creation is a whole different animal, huh?
Oh, for real, man. I mean, it's fun though. You get into the art of it, you get into the intricacies, and you start learning more. I mean, it becomes, your passion just builds more. So
right. Is there a reason to focus on? I know I sounded like I was ending there, but I have more questions. Is there a reason to focus on students who have roots on Guam that are also playing like in the nation or in different parts of the world?
Sorry, I don't get, like,
I guess have like a focus of people who maybe have been uprooted from Guam, right? And kind of showcasing
for sure, man. I mean, you'd be surprised at like the amount of messages we get from, people who have roots here. Just unfortunately that it's tough to create content based around them just because of the lack of content we can get from them.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was messaging Jamar the other night. I was like, hey man, find a video. So Jamar is this standout basketball player that's playing D2 ball now. Graduated in 2018.
18.
No, 19 last year.
Yeah, 19. Sorry.
So I was just telling him like, hey, find a videographer on campus. You know, tell him to hit me up, and we'll cover your sports out there. So, I mean, there's different avenues and creative ways we're trying to get more content out there, and hopefully we can get them done.
Yeah. But anyways, thank you guys, man. This is fun.
Yeah, it was
5 years, Eddie. The fuck, man. Can you not wait so long before you call me back?
Yeah, get me in.
What episode is this one?
This is 221.
All right, 300. We're going to Eddie's pool, man. All right,
80 episodes from now. Hopefully,
Okay,
I reach
dude.
80 faster than that.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah.
Thank you. I want to give a shout out to Matty B over there for doing what he's doing.
for sure.
Thank you, Matty. Appreciate you.
I know,
being
dude.
on
And,
this
Matt's been a trooper for how many years been doing this, Matt? Almost 3 years?
It's been 5 years since I've been here, so shit. It's
Yeah,
at least
man.
5.
And just the fact that he's willing to still come here and fuck around with all the gear and learn, and it's been a learning process throughout the years, and you're gonna find that too, with building a team and kind of like getting people to like, all right, this is how you can do it, but I want you to throw your own flavor onto it, and
Yeah.
it's cool. It's cool that Matt still comes back every week and do this.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't done a podcast COVID hit. It was like 2 months, and then before that, it was like once a month.
Yeah.
And we were going hard last year, leading up to episode 200, to where we were like doing 1 to 2 episodes a week.
Wow.
And it's like, how do you not get burnt out, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Easy, super easy to get burnt out, especially doing this social media stuff and trying to like make it look perfect and make it look good and attract people to watch. That's why, like I said earlier, it's like it's come to the point where this is just for us,
For sure.
I
I like how your podcast is really broad and you bring in different personalities to learn about different subjects. I've been on your podcast for about 3 weeks now. But I mean, I'm on it, dude. Like, I've listened
Thanks,
to
bro.
the CEO from Guam. I listened to that entire podcast. You know what I mean? I listened to Regime Tagati's podcast.
Yeah.
So you have really good personalities on here, and I appreciate what you're doing for the community, man.
Thanks, man. And I hope to be doing this, for a long time. And it gets and I think kind of taking a step back and kind of like, instead of trying to do it to like garner some kind of attention, because at some point it was like, yeah, we're getting attention. Let's keep doing this, to keep that attention on us, for people to listen. But at the end of the day, it'll always be like, how much does it matter to you? How much does doing this, you sitting through the process and actually like being here and putting in the legwork and having these conversations, how much does it matter to you? And I had to take that step back and be like, fuck it. This is just for our benefit, and whoever wants to listen, that's up to you.
For sure.
I'm not gonna go and chase attention anymore. Right?
For sure, bro. Attention's coming.
Yeah, man. I mean, and that's
growing.
just that's what that's how it started. Is like, damn, we're getting listeners. Hell yeah, Fuck yeah, let's keep doing this. People following. Yeah. But
I still remember, I think we're at a fantasy football payout, and I was like, yeah, boo, that fucking episode. Yeah, he goes, you fucking listen to my podcast? I was like, yeah, bro, fuck. I mean, shit,
Yeah.
I fucking got to drive 40 minutes to work.
dude, to this very day, I'm still surprised that people listen to like older episodes and
For sure, man.
and keep the grass green. I try not to talk about the podcast too much on any of the podcast episodes, but
Yeah.
it's
One of my favorite, though, just real quick, was the Mighty Island one. Yeah, I really enjoyed
man.
listening to that. Nico
Yeah.
and Kyle.
they're a bunch of
Yeah,
creative.
Nico and Kyle. Just
Creative
when I
dudes,
was
dude.
listening to that, just to go back, because, we played on the same basketball team. Dude, those guys have been filmmakers before they decided to become filmmakers. Like, they've been in the game so long. Like, I remember being in Japan and watching some crazy-ass film with them that I had no idea, like, the art behind it, but they've always been appreciative of it. And just to see how far they come full circle is
Yeah, man.
amazing, man.
And that's, I guess, just doing this podcast and talking to the amount of people I've talked to on it. It's just showing me every day more and more, like, there's a reason to be here, and there's reason to like give back, and there's reason to put time into this place and be creative here. And the reason why guys like you are doing stuff to progress programs literally like for free,
Yeah.
and it's cool. It's cool to fucking see, and
Sure, man.
I keep wanting to do it.
Yeah, Nico and Kyle. I mean, they're basketball players. Those guys can fucking ball. They didn't look like fucking basketball
Reals,
players.
man.
When Nico first walked in the gym, I looked at him and I looked at Tom. So I said, "Oh, who the fuck is this fucking? Who the hell is this fucking? Like, you don't? There's no more haircut fucking rule. What the fuck's going on here? Like, what the hell? This fucking school got soft on? What the hell is this shit?" And he came out there and he schooled everybody in the court. And I was like, "Damn, that kid can fucking handle a basketball."
Yeah.
And there comes Kyle, and he has a little. But yeah, man, it's those guys are fun.
Yeah, but
Thanks, boo.
keep doing what you're doing. At least with the with Clutch, and I hope it pushes like even further than you are now.
For sure.
Right, and making more documentaries. Just the fact that you've made, technically, I think a full length is considered like an hour and a half, but
Half a full length.
I think a feature length is a hour and a half, but a full length is about an hour.
But
you're almost there. You know what I mean?
We're gonna get to that hour this coming season. Trust
Yeah,
me.
man.
Yeah,
I mean,
when we talked about it, I was like, yeah, I need 20 minutes, 25 minutes,
Yeah.
under 30. Then I was saying it was 41 minutes. I was like, holy shit, that's
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about it, that for him, it's hard because there's just, as far as documenting in basketball, there's so much content. There's just so much things. Next year we got a little bit different. But yeah, man. Thanks, Boo. We appreciate your time, brother.
Appreciate it, Boom.
Oh yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you, Matt, for being here. Oh.
Thanks, Matty. I promise.
Appreciate
I
you,
promise.
bro.
Boo got good food.
Yeah, I never thank Matt enough. But thank you guys for joining another episode of the podcast with Dom Sablan and Eddie Pelkey. And I hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, peace out. Hey guys, thanks so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. It definitely won't be 5 years till I get them back on again. And support the podcast wherever you can. It's easy, it's free, it's as free as hugs. So if you can, do it. It's on the Apple Podcast app. Leave a rating and review. Stream it on Spotify. Stream it on Google Podcasts, Podbean. It's everywhere. Literally everywhere you can think of. Master Random is probably there. And COVID, take care of each other. Take care of yourself. Keep your cluster tight. And we're all going to be all right. Let's not stigmatize those who are testing positive. But yet, let's support them. So be kind to each other. Love each other, and see ya next time.